Hey, everybody. Hey, what's shaking? Hello, Chris. Hello, Lloyd. Hey, everybody. Oh. Hey, what? Crapola. I forgot to mute the speakers. What's happening? You got storms going on right now, Chris? Try and move this pop-out chat over here where I can see it a little better. What kind of storms you got going on, Chris? Six people watching. Nobody's chatting. Come on now, guys. Who all's here? Says we got 6 people watching. Hey, Jim. Welcome. Tell you what I'm going to do. Control C. Put this over here. There you go. Anybody wants to come play? Come on in. Hello, Ronald. Yeah, now I'm seeing 9 too now, Jim. You want to come on, Jim? Lloyd, Chris, anybody? Ronald? I'm doing well. Thank you. I just decided to pop on for a little while. Hello, Peter. Get a little more watch time flying, you know. I just need 100 subscribers and a little under 200 hours of watch time. So I got to start getting some more watch time going. So I thought I'd pop on for a little while.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, buddy. Let me get my headset. That way I'll not be double broadcasting with the microphone. How you doing, Jim?
Well, I ordered some RAM. Thought I'd soup up my computer. And I turned around, and boy, they were quick. I got it today. The only problem was they sent me the RAM for the not for the laptop, for the regular computer.
Well, that's what you ordered. It takes special RAM for a laptop.
Yeah, I thought I ordered that. But man, I ordered it last night. I was talking to Steve Carpenter.
Oh, wow.
And I ordered it last night, and FedEx delivered it today. I was like, holy cow.
No doubt.
And that was from Best Buy, not Amazon.
Wow.
So I brought that back, and I picked up a 500 gigabyte because when I took the back of the laptop off, I found out I could add another SSD drive. It has this empty slot, so I picked up a 500 gigabyte, See, here's the thing, Mel.
That'll give you a little more room, but 500 gigs is not much anymore.
I told them to bring me up a 1 terabyte, and I didn't look at the package because I had to bring back the RAM. So I did a switch out. He sent me up to the service counter, and he just brought the next package up to the counter.
Oh.
I didn't look at it. I get home, it's a 500 gig, and I'm like, what the heck? I'll just put it in. But I haven't opened it yet, so I may, you don't want to go back 2 and 3 times.
No, but it's not what you wanted. So, I mean, bad on that guy, I mean, hey, Jody, if your machine will handle, the drive, then I'd say get the terabyte at least, more if you can. I mean, I've got 2 4 terabyte drives, I got external 6 drives in my, no, one's internal. I've only got 1 external, and it's a 4 terabyte, but I've got like 6 hard drives in my tower, plus the 4 terabyte external drive. So, and it's a duplicate of the 4 terabyte drive that's in my computer. That way, because my thought was my house is a mobile home. Those things burn to the ground in like 5 minutes. You want to grab it and run. I don't want to have to grab my whole tower. If I just grab that 4 terabyte drive, I'm golden. At least then I got all my files, right? But kind of like in the old days, we used to keep a metal important paper box.
Yeah.
My dad had one, and all of us kids knew where it was. And in the event of emergency, one of us was supposed to try to grab that box and get it out of the house before it burned up in the fire. But, yeah, so that's what I'm doing there. So did you get the extra RAM put in?
No, this is a gaming laptop, an Asus GL702. They didn't have the RAM in the store. Their shelves were just, it was terrible. So I'm running just 12 gigabytes here. And so I came home, went online, got 32 gigabytes from Amazon coming on the 11th.
Okay. Well, that'll help.
That in. Yeah.
Hey there, Ronald.
Hey, Mel, how are you today?
I'm doing well, sir. How are you?
I'm doing very good.
Welcome aboard.
Oh, thank you. Oh, how's everybody tonight?
I'm better than I deserve, man. Better than I deserve. It's been raining a little bit outside, and I've been inside. And about 4:30, I decided to take a nap, and I woke up about 6:30 and made some coffee and thought, I dinked around a little bit, looked at some videos. I was watching TubeBuddy's got a live stream going right now with Nick Nimmons and
I was watching that.
Daniel Patel and all them guys, So I watched that for a little while, and I thought, I started looking at some of my analytics and whatnot, and I'm under 200 hours of making the 4,000 hour watch limit thing, and I'm under 100 subscribers, and I thought, I'm going to get me some watch time, so I think I'll go live for a little while, and I'm going to use Hangouts so I don't use a bunch of data doing it. And
you know what I heard, Mel? I don't know if it's true or not, but I heard that people were putting in early for the monetization because it takes months to get.
It doesn't take months to get.
That's just what I heard. So.
Yeah, it takes a week or two, maybe a month, depending on when, everybody gets, all companies get busy at certain times and they can't handle the call volume or whatever, but I'm not overly concerned about it. I just want to get the criteria going. You know what I mean?
Hey Mel.
Yeah.
Can you kind of explain to a rookie what exactly is the monetization? What exactly is that?
Well, it's once you're able to monetize your channel, you get a couple of benefits. You get paid by Google for advertisements and things that get put on your channel. the more you advertise, the more possibility you have of making money, and the more advertising you do, the more viewers you have, the better off you are.
Right.
You know.
And there is a how do I say it? A minimal amount of subscribers that you must have, correct?
Correct. Yeah, Trevor, be sure and mute your YouTube feed there, brother.
Done, bud.
Thank you, sir. Welcome. A minimum of 1,000 subscribers and a minimum of 4,000 watch hours.
Oh, wow.
In a year's time.
Mel, the reason why it can take up to a couple of months is some people have their videos unlisted or in the way that, and that's when it can show flags, and that's when YouTube can drag their feet.
Sure.
That's usually the only time, but usually it doesn't take months.
But the unlisted videos and private videos don't even contribute to your watch time.
Right.
No, but they flag to investigate it, to see if there's anything, a reason why that you haven't got them listed, and so they have to check it out. That's the only time when it really takes time. Sometimes people have had to wait nearly 6 months because they weren't aware that they needed to tidy up their videos.
Ah, okay. Well,
yes, that's been the reason.
I don't think I've got a handful of unlisted videos, if that many. So I'm not too concerned about all that.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I turn around and delete the ones that were just testing videos and stuff like that.
I do too.
I do too. I do that as well.
So there's no issues.
Yeah.
It's not going to add up to a lot of watch time or anything?
No, it doesn't. In the big picture, it doesn't add up to a lot. I do have a couple of questions for you guys, though, that now that Nay has apparently decided to back out of YouTube, he was your support, What's going to happen with your guys? Are you guys still going to start using OBS and live streaming, or?
I'm staying with OBS.
I can speak for myself only. I've spoken to Nay personally on emails. He's going to continue working with me, and he's going to follow it through with what he started. And even if it's not on a YouTube platform or function, just as a private.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good. I was afraid that you guys might be left hanging without the support that you're probably going to need, In
fact, OBS did an update today.
What's that?
OBS did an update today.
Oh, yeah?
Hey, Mel, how are you liking your new smart controller?
I'm liking it. It's a lot easier to get up in the air with. It's, of course, the controls are the same as any other controller. But it's convenient. It's very convenient.
I have one. Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah.
I flew with it today. In fact, when I picked up my truck from the shop, I showed the guy. In fact, I've got the drone sitting here next to my desk. I'm gonna probably this evening or in the morning pull it out and pull a couple of images off of there, because I did a couple of aerial shots of his shop and property and stuff for him. He did a couple things on my car. Air conditioner was acting up on my car, so he did a couple things, and he didn't charge me anything for it. So I thought, well, I'll throw something at him,
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm liking it so far. I haven't dove into all of the features and everything yet, but I'm sure over time I'll get into it deeper.
Yeah. I saw a guy one day, oh gosh, I forget where his channel was at. He was, I think maybe Alaska, but he had a big SUV type vehicle, and he opened up the back door and he had like a 50-inch flat screen TV that he used as a as a screen, and he had the HDMI cable, coming out of the controller into the TV. I'm like, wow,
Right.
that was pretty cool. Yeah.
I'd like to set that up one day if I could afford to. Is have my whole van set out so I could do a couple of day trips and then use this as my home base and just do a bit of YouTube on the go.
Yep, that would be nice. I've got a 2,500 watt inverter mounted in my truck, and I just a few days ago, a week ago maybe, had a hard cover, tonneau cover put on my truck, and I got the tailgate latch lock and everything all put together. So now I can lock my tailgate, close the tonneau cover up, and pretty well makes my truck bed secure now.
Hey, does that tonneau cover make it waterproof too?
It's not really waterproof, but it's extremely water resistant. It still has rubber seals around the edges and things that water can get in through. Probably just straight rain with the truck sitting still, it won't be an issue. It'll stay dry.
That's exactly right. I've had lots of tonneau covers for my trucks, and wind has always been an issue if you've been traveling, where it can push a bit of rain underneath the seals.
Sure, because wind-driven rain is your enemy in any kind of thing you build, even your house. I mean, your house is fairly watertight if the rain is basically coming straight down. That's how the house is designed to mitigate the water. But you get water blowing sideways from wind, and now it's hitting your windows in ways that it normally wouldn't, and you could get a leak. So
and it pushes it and squeezes it in places you wouldn't expect.
Exactly. Wind-driven rain is your enemy. Regular rain's okay. Wind-driven rain is always a problem. But I was thinking about doing just what you said with putting a TV in the back of the truck, and having it on a stand where I can open the tonneau cover, raise the TV up, and I don't know if I'd do a 50-inch, but
I do it with
I've got a 60-inch.
I do it with a standard 12-inch TV, HD TV.
It might not have been a 50, but it was a good sized TV, though. It was
the only one.
SUV with it.
Yeah, the only one I have that I could do that with is my actual monitor that I'm using here. It's a Vizio, I don't know, 42 or 32 or something. I don't know. It's big for a computer monitor, and I'll be carrying it with me anyway when I go back to California and stuff. So I was thinking about setting things up, kind of. I don't know. I've been toying with some ideas.
Well, I don't have the alternator you do, so I had to go with a small 12-inch, but it's good for showing clients what's going on,
Oh, you don't need a big alternator. In fact, just to run the TV, you could get one of those little inverters that plug into your cigarette lighter that only put out like 100 watts. I mean, that's enough to run a TV on. So you could run a 24 or 32-inch or 42-inch or whatever you want.
I did it, and it cost me $175 for an alternator. I don't know what went.
Well, that's interesting. That might have just been coincidental, but my truck's got 2 batteries and 2 alternators, and I'm running that big 2,500 watt inverter too. So, I think I'll be okay.
You got the power to do it.
It should be okay. And let's see, somebody's commenting that I'm ignoring them. I just got 2 words.
Are they grumpy?
Bite me.
Bite me. How you going, Grumpy?
Okay, everybody all at once. Let's give it to Lloyd.
Hey, Lloyd.
Bite me.
Was that good enough for lag?
Yeah, you were on time.
He says, did I get a haircut or just comb it for a change?
Oh, man.
I combed it, Lloyd. I mean, can't you tell? Doesn't it look good? I mean, come on. Doing a live stream, with, Ken Heron says you got to have good hair, right?
Good hair and brush your teeth. And
hey, Brent.
He does look good.
But yeah, so I'm looking forward to doing all that, and maybe and you really don't need that big of a monitor.
No.
Like you said, a 12-inch, just something where people can walk up and look and see what the drone sees. That's really all you really need.
Hey, Mel, on Ken Original Dobo's channel, and I can't remember when he aired that, but it wasn't a Crystal Sky, but it was a monitor similar to that he attached with on the smart controller. He had a Lifthor attachment to the smart controller that held this external monitor, and I said it was similar to a Crystal Sky, but it was 2200 nit. I mean that's extremely bright.
Yeah. Wow.
I can't remember when it was. It's on Ken, Original Dobo's channel. I can't remember when the date was. He did a video on it, but man, it was pretty impressive. I mean, it's a lot of real estate to hold, but
yeah,
but it was nice.
Yeah. I'm hearing in my headset, I'm hearing my TV, let me go get that muted real quick.
Yeah, go for it.
I can't imagine 2200 nit in the bright sun. I'm only using the 1000 nit crystal, and that's perfect. It's fine.
Do you have a Crystal Sky yourself, or?
Yeah.
Okay, and how do you like it?
I got the 7.85. I love it. I love it.
Okay.
I mean, it doesn't overheat. That's what I love about it.
Okay. And where are you from, if I may ask?
I'm in Florida, but I'm from New York. I've been down here a while.
Okay, I thought I detected a little New York accent on you.
34 years on Long Island.
Yeah. Okay.
But I had my iPads overheating years ago, man, when I was first flying the Inspire 1.
In Florida?
Yeah.
Really? Yeah. Wow. See, I'm out in South Dakota. I mean, it's the summer. It's 70s, 80s. We hit the 90s during the summer, but I've never had an overheating problem with any device.
It's kind of common with that.
Now you're buffering, Jim.
And all that. So when they came out for everybody.
Is that mine? That's not mine buffering, is it?
I think it was Jim's buffering.
Yeah, I think so.
He's got a very limited internet.
What are you eating?
Just a lollipop. I don't smoke anymore for last 9 years, so a lollipop's okay once a day.
There you go.
Yeah, but check that out if you get a chance, Mel. I said, I wish I could. I remember seeing it the other night. I caught it by accident, and
so it's a recent video.
I can't remember if it was recent or not.
Oh, okay.
But sometime this year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take a look at that.
Yeah, if I can find it, I'll email it to you or whatever.
Okay.
But it was pretty neat. Like I said, it wasn't a Crystal Sky, and I'm trying to remember the name of the company. I think it was a little cheaper than a Crystal Sky, but it was 2200 nit, which is that's the big Crystal Sky is 2200. Am I correct on that?
2000.
Oh,
Yeah.
2000. Okay. Okay.
So I can't imagine 2200. That would be its own source of light.
I'm willing to bet that you're not going to be able to see very well 200 nits. Maybe if you go from 0 to 200, you might see that. But if you're going from 2000 to 2200, I don't think it'd be a huge improvement.
Right. Yeah.
Well, I think
I don't
the
know.
ones we have are all 1000 nits, right?
Yeah.
Smart controller's 1000 nits too.
Yeah.
I think 1000 to 2000, you could see a difference. So.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But you guys don't have any problems in the sun seeing
No.
it, right?
No.
I
Not at
haven't as yet. I haven't as yet. In fact, today, when the owner of the shop walked out into the parking lot, just out of habit, I moved under a shade tree where I could show him the controller where he'd be able to see it really well. And I thought, you know, I wouldn't have had to do that, but it's okay.
Yeah. That is nice though, Mel. I do like that connectivity, like boom, 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 you know.
Yep. And
you're up and running.
And I'm gonna like the ability to use it on both of the drones, the Pro and the Zoom.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I just got to have somebody donate a P4P V2.0 to me so that I can use it with that too.
Yeah, I see they just put out a beta software.
And I don't. Is that invitation only, that beta software, or is that good for anybody?
Yeah, it's not out to the public yet. Apparently, I guess DJI has selected a few people to beta test it. And,
okay.
There was a few guys on YouTube I saw that were testing it, and who would I see? Bill, the drone reviewer, and Kluge. I can't remember his name, but he was tested. He had a thing on it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Kluge Tech. Yeah,
right.
That's the only two I've seen.
Okay, gotcha.
Pretty smart on their part.
Yeah.
Get more sales. Yeah.
Sure.
I do miss my Phantom 4 Pro though. I miss the camera on that, but I don't miss the size.
You know, and that's kind of how I feel about mine. I kind of wish I hadn't have sold it, but I just really like, I'm getting to where I really like the convenience of the Mavic foldable, you know, the portability of those two drones is amazing.
Yeah.
The one thing that amazes me is how much quieter it is than the other drones.
Yeah, yeah. And I think because of that, I think I've actually broke down and decided to go ahead and part with my other Inspire. I'm going to go ahead and sell that.
Oh.
Now that I'm not going to do, because if they start bringing all this and pushing us down to 200 feet, I don't want to get trapped. And that Inspire doesn't have all this remote ID and ADSB and right back to anybody. I'm keeping the Inspire.
Well,
doesn't have all that high tech, and I like that.
Yeah, but you know, you can get other drones that don't have that tech either. So it's to me, it really doesn't matter. Most of the stuff that I do commercially, I'm under 100 feet. So I just don't even see a problem for it. The only reason you need to go higher is if you're doing an inspection on a tall building or something like that. And I mean, you got to admit, Jim, that how many times do you actually, when you're doing inspections for construction or anything, how often are you even over 100 feet? I mean, really, you know?
Well, just when they're doing condos and stuff like that.
Yeah, well, see, when you're I don't see it as a problem if you're doing an inspection and you're commercially licensed. You're going to be able to get authorization to go above 100 feet or 200 feet or whatever the money gods decide to let us peons have, you know.
That was tricky. I was sure glad I got my wide area authorization a couple of years ago, because our airports don't have LANC, and they turned around and don't take calls to air traffic control anymore.
Right.
In fact, I had them I told you already. I had them hang up on me, Ron.
Yeah.
When I tried to advise that I was flying.
And
Really?
you know, I think way back in the day, I think I said something about that. I said something about, and I don't know if I said it on a stream or what, but I said air traffic control is going to get tired of hearing from drone pilots. You know, I just think calling the tower. I mean, even if you're within a half a mile of the airport, unless you're on the approach or departure end of the traffic pattern, if you're off to the side, a couple of 100 feet in the air doesn't make a difference. I mean, no traffic pattern on any airport, private or commercial, is the traffic pattern is never under 1,000 feet. The downwind leg, the base leg, you enter the traffic pattern typically on what's called the downwind leg, and most of those are at 1,000 feet AGL. So, you know, they're not below that until they make base leg and they actually start their descent. The big airports for the commercial planes, many of those do straight in approaches most of the time because those are big, cumbersome aircraft to fly and they don't maneuver well. So they like to do straight in approaches. When you bank the wings of an airplane, you lose lift considerably. And it's more difficult to maintain an altitude with banked wings than it is with level wings. It's just a characteristic of how an airplane flies. So to me, I don't see a problem with that, even being close to an airport. But having a permanent or annual clearance to be able to do that, I'm sure is handy to have.
Do any of you guys have experience with this is coming out July 23rd, the land system? Ken Heron had did a video on that. Do any of you guys have experience with that?
It's out at 600 airports now.
Yeah,
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's available now. You can get to it via the Air Maps app.
Right. Yeah, okay.
Altitude Angel has it too.
Yeah, and I'm sure that the what is it, Before You Fly app with the FAA, I'm sure that they have it too. Have
you guys used it or tried it or?
No, I don't have a flank here. I don't know if Mel does.
I haven't used it yet. Haven't had a need to, but it's going to be a good system. Back from the sky under the impression airplanes take off and land according to wind direction. That's exactly true, as long as airports are always built with the runways pointed in the direction of the prevailing winds for that area of the country.
Exactly.
For example, Oceanside Airport, where I was learning to fly, the prevailing wind is typically from the ocean onto the land. So the runway was pointed toward the beach. And when we would take off from Oceanside Airport and climb out straight, within 3 or 4 miles, we'd be over the ocean. 5 miles, whatever it was.
They always take off into the wind.
Yep. And when there's a crosswind, they still take off into the crosswind. So it's an airplane flies in what's called relative wind. You have to have relative wind blowing over the wings. The airplane can be sitting dead still as far as ground movement goes, but it could be flying at 40 miles an hour airspeed wise. I've had that actually happen when I was flying model airplanes, fixed wing airplanes. I had one that was so small and so light that it just had a little 049 engine on it. When it ran out of fuel, it became a glider, and I would just glide back down to the runway and land. One day, the wind was strong enough that the little 049 motor and the little bitty prop that was probably a 6-inch prop or a 5-inch prop or something would barely make the airplane move forward into the wind, but it'd go like a bat out of hell downwind, right? I knew I was getting close to low on fuel. So based on the amount of time I was able to fly with that thing. So I lined up over the runway and I was flying into the wind. And sure enough, it got about 40 feet past me and the motor quit. Well, the wind actually started blowing the airplane backwards. Ground speed was actually reversed. The airplane was moving backwards over the ground, but it was gliding because the wind, relative wind, it was flying in what's called relative wind. And I actually landed the airplane rolling backwards because of the wind.
Wow.
So wind is a very important thing when it comes to designing airports. And in fact, with your drones, you should actually point them into the wind for your initial takeoff. There's a couple of reasons for that. The main reason being, depending on the wind and the gusts, if it tries to blow the drone, it's going to blow it straight backwards. You're going to be looking at it probably in front of you, and all of your controls are going to be in the right direction, left, right, etc. So it just makes sense to have the drone kind of in front of you, pointed into the wind on your initial takeoff. What comes out for hobbyists on the 23rd, Lloyd? What are you talking about?
I think it's regarding the land system. Comes out on the 23rd.
Oh, well, anybody can use it right now. You don't have to be a commercial pilot to use Lance. You have a higher possibility of getting your approval if you're a commercial pilot, if you have a 107, but anybody can use it. It's open to the public.
Yeah, it's funny, Mel, you mentioned about the winds. Boy, we had some pretty strong winds. I work up in North Dakota. I live in South, but I work in North, and we had some pretty strong winds up in North Dakota, just beating up our helicopter this weekend. Holy cow! Yeah, we had some tough times this weekend. Yeah. But,
Hello, Gianni. Gianni, is that how you say that?
Hey, Mel, I'm going to jump off and hit Mother Nature.
Hurry back.
Okay.
Mel, how many batteries does your Aspire have? Because and the bits and pieces with it, because as I may have someone that may buy it.
I've got 5 batteries. I've got a 1 controller, extra props, of course.
1 controller.
2 cameras.
What's just the basic controller? Because
yeah, it's just a standard controller.
That's okay. That's fine.
Yeah.
Yep. And say again with the props.
Extra sets of props.
Okay.
Hello, Droneaholic.
what cameras do you have, Lloyd or Mel?
2 cameras.
2 cameras.
X3 that comes with it stock.
An X3, yep, stock.
And I've got the Z3, which is a zoom camera. It's the same as the X3, except it's a zoom.
Yeah, and it's a zoom. Right.
Yeah. That's why they call it a Z3.
Yeah, for zoom.
And the funny thing is I fly that with a 9 or 10 inch iPad. I've got it sitting right here on my desk, but
and that's suitable with a now it's on the tip of Sky
Crystal Sky.
Yeah, Crystal Sky.
Sure.
Yeah, that's okay because he's got a Crystal Sky.
Yeah, you can use a Crystal Sky with anything. He might have to get the adapter that mounts on the controller that you plug the Crystal Sky in with, but yeah, absolutely.
He's got that.
Because that's interchangeable on that controller.
Yep, that's okay.
So, and then it's also got a case made by a company called Caseman. So it's a case that stores the drone in what's called travel mode. some cases will store the drone in landing mode with the landing gear down. This one actually stores it with the landing gear flat straight out.
Mel, are you able to mention on here a rough ballpark what you might be asking?
Sure.
Oh yeah, that's what that was the big.
For the whole thing, I need to get probably 1,200.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I mean, if you added up everything, the Z3 camera is about $800. The drone itself is $800 to $1,000, depending on the condition of it. And this one's in mint condition. And then batteries are still about $1.50 a piece, and I got 5 of them. So if you add everything up, that's $1,200 is a really fair price for all of it.
That's Inspire 1 or 2?
It's an Inspire 1 version 2, so it's the Pro. It'll handle an X5 camera as well.
Okay.
So it's got the big gimbal tray under it.
So it's a 1 version 2.
Yeah, it's an Inspire 1 version 2 Pro. Technically is what it is.
Right.
And what the difference that makes it a Pro or not a Pro is the camera, believe it or not. You hang the Z3 under it, it's an Inspire 1 version 2. You hang the X5 under it, it's an Inspire 1 version 2 Pro. So go figure. Makes no sense to me, but that's actually the difference.
I got a buddy I'll talk to tomorrow.
It's a great price.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah, and from the version 1, from the Inspire 1 versus the Inspire 1 version 2, it's got bigger motors. It still uses the Roku tonight only has a 2-second delay. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, Jody's actually seen it. He's seen it fly and everything, so he's very familiar with it. He's got one just like it, I think. They improved the landing gear drive, and they changed the connection between the worm drive and the arms. They made it more solid, more dependable. After the 23rd, you can use Lance to get permission to fly in controlled airspace. Lloyd, I think you can use it now.
I think, I'm not certain, Mel, but it may be just for 107 pilots right now. I'm not certain on that, but I think Lloyd might be correct on that. I think hobbyists will be available on the 23rd.
Lloyd usually is correct, but I'm surprised that
As a hobbyist, Lloyd says.
yeah. And I'm surprised that hobbyists can't use it. I mean, hobbyists can use the Air Maps app and all the other apps, so that's kind of interesting. It is a great deal, Ronnie. It really is, and it's a great flying aircraft. It's fantastic. I mean, I've flown it full speed at 6 feet off the water and all kinds of stuff. You know, it's a great aircraft.
Yeah. I'd like to own one. I'm half tempted to think about it myself.
Well, it's speak English, Jody. I don't have a clue what all that means.
Yeah, me neither.
But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and sell that because the only 2 drones I've flown in the last 6 weeks is the Mavic Zoom and now the Mavic Pro. Oh, it's a 3-inch racer. Okay. Gotcha. So yeah, I haven't even taken the Inspire out of the box. Got it, Lloyd. Awesome. Lance is really easy to use too. You know, from air maps anyway, it's fairly simple. It's not too difficult. The trick is putting in all your information so that you give them all the information you can get and have a higher chance of approval. That's my understanding, but I haven't actually had to use it yet myself. And I've lost my mouse. There it is. And the only problem with using 3 screens is you lose track of where things are at. 112 miles an hour. Holy hell. Good Lord Almighty. That's fast.
Wow.
Yeah. That's crazy fast. Yeah, Ronald, you ought to get it. You ought to pick it up.
I'm going to talk to my buddy tomorrow, and I'm going to give it some thought too. I need to get my hind end in gear and get my 107. Sad part is I work with pilots every day who are good tutors, and I just haven't got my butt in gear to get out there and get the test. I could probably go out and take it right now and pass it, but I want to study a little more.
Yeah.
And you know, it's $150. You know.
Yep.
To come there and take it. And my main goal myself is real estate, and from what I understand, I'm going to start approaching some of the sheriff's departments out here for search and rescue. You know, with the line of work that I do, you know, about potentially, you know, helping to search for people or whatever. And the only thing about flying a drone up where I work in the wintertime, I'll tell you what, it's brutal. I'm not sure I want to fly my drone in some of the winters up in North Dakota.
Yeah. Cold temperatures will definitely have an effect on things, but there's some tricks that you can do. Keep all your batteries inside your car with the heat on. Keep the drone inside your car. And in fact, if you fire it up inside your car, the IMU will be fooled a little bit because it'll actually be warm when you start the IMU. You will get a compass error. That is realistically immaterial, because once you take it outside, get it away from the car, the compass will quit having an error, and you'll be able to fly.
Good point.
You can get, like Jody says, those glove warmers, those hand warmers. If I'm not mistaken, they actually make a battery warmer for the Inspire that you drop the battery into, and it uses a little bit of battery voltage to warm the battery. You can get those. Brent, to answer your question, the only Inspire that you can directly mount the XT camera to is the Inspire 1 version 2, or maybe the 1 also, I'm not sure. But you can't put it on an M210 without an adapter. That adapter is like $150. You can't put the XT camera on any heavy lifter without the adapter at this moment in time. The Inspire 1 version 2 is the only one that I know of for sure that the XT camera will just mount right up to. The other drones don't have, like the Inspire 2, it's a different kind of camera mount, first of all. And if you use the adapter, the software in the Inspire 2 won't even recognize that there's a camera there. So at this moment, the Inspire 1 version 2, as far as I know, is the only one that you can just snap the camera on the bottom and go flying. Which in your line of work, Ronald, might be handy.
Yeah.
You know, having the good color stuff and radiometrics of the XT, or an XT2, you know, depending on which one you want to get. You'd probably get an XT 640 for was it 19 megahertz and 9 megahertz, something like that, the really fast refresh rate. You'll probably start being able to find those fairly cheap because they got the XT2 out now. So,
Oh, okay.
that's a possibility as well.
Yeah.
But I know the XT 6 months ago, a year ago, the regular XT 640, and I believe it's 19 megahertz. Jody might be able to correct me on that if I'm off, but I think the refresh rate on it's 19 megahertz, and it was a mere $18,000.
Wow.
But it's a great camera. Radiometrics, I mean, you can zoom it in and actually get temperature in each pixel of the image.
Holy cow.
Yeah,
It's amazing.
you don't really need that, but especially for search and rescue type stuff. And you don't need that heavy duty of a camera either. You can get the 30 megahertz, I believe it is, for a lot less. You can pick that up for between 5,000 and 8,000, depending on where you find it. Paul Murray just sold one for like $4,000 or $5,000 or something here just a little while back. Slow refresh rate, 30 hertz. And I don't remember if it was a 640 resolution or not. They don't have one. The XT doesn't do 720. I think 640 is the max resolution on it, but that's plenty of resolution to see people and things like that. And the quality, the resolution and the megahertz, the refresh rate are the two important things. And it doesn't need a RGB overlay either. It works on its own. It'll show you the hot spots. It'll show you bodies. It'll show you animals. It'll show you whatever without needing the RGB image overlay with it.
I actually thought about the Enterprise at one point in time, and I forget what the price tag is on it, but I wanted to know the price tag versus how much am I going to use it. It's not that we get that much of that type of work.
Well, the problem with the Enterprise is the resolution of the camera and the refresh rate is so low. It's junk. It's in fact the features of it. If you're in 110-degree weather looking for a 100-degree body, you might not even find it because the two temperatures are going to be so close. You'd find a 100-degree body in 30-degree weather real easy.
Right.
But, the quality of the resolution on it was so low that I was all excited when I found out they were coming out with that. And when I found out what the camera was, I was like, okay, this is junk. This is useless mostly. Might show you hot spots in a burning building. It might show you cold spots for air conditioning or roof inspection. It might show you warm spots in a solar panel, maybe, but it's just not all that in a bag of chips too, in my opinion. So I didn't buy one.
Yeah, I haven't seen a whole lot of advertisement for them, a lot of reviews or anything lately. It seems like it's kind of died off a little bit.
Yeah, all of the reviews and stuff were so. Nobody really blasted it out there like it was the greatest thing since sliced bread.
Yeah.
Well, hello, Brian. Yeah, but Jody, you like doing mod stuff and things like that. What you up to, Brian? You want to come on the panel? Are you home? Are you in front of your laptop or on your phone? What are you doing, buddy?
Yeah, what is he up to?
Yeah. Barely awake. Well, it is probably 11 o'clock for you.
It means you're barely asleep.
Mel, are you on Central Time or
Yeah.
or East Coast?
Central.
Okay. I'm on Mountain.
Do what?
I'm on Mountain Time.
So you're in Western South Dakota?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Rapid City area. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
my parents moved out there. Oh God, I was really little. My dad was into coal mining out there.
Okay. Yeah.
We were in Rapid City.
Uh-huh.
I remember we lived in an apartment and I was really young. And the only memory I have is one day my dad came home from work and he was covered in coal dust,
Right.
just, covered in it.
Mm-hmm.
He ran the elevator for the shaft.
Okay.
And my understanding is he broke up a few fights in the elevator too. I guess back then coal miners knew how to do two things really good, and that was work and fight.
Yeah. We see most of the coal mining seems to be over in Gillette, Wyoming, which is about 2 hours west of me. Don't see much in the coal mining industry in the Rapid area now.
I know we lived in Rapid City,
Right.
And it was in, I'm going to say 62, 61, 62, somewhere in there.
Okay. Yeah, it's a big, kind of a big tourist town now. It's amazing this time of year. We get a lot of European visitors. People come from all over the world. They come to see Mount Rushmore, things like the Badlands, and
Yeah.
It's.
I'd like to come see Mount Rushmore sometime now that I'm old enough to appreciate it.
Yeah, why not? Same thing I told Ken. I was on Ken's show one night, and he says he has this vision of wanting to fly a drone up
Yes.
George Washington's nose.
Yeah.
But I told Ken, I said, hey, come on out. I said, there's two conditions. I said, one, you got to bring Dana with you, and two, you got to bring the Inspire. He goes, okay, on both.
Yeah. And I gotta say, even the Inspire 2, that's an amazing aircraft, and I'd buy one maybe because it's amazing and impressive, but I don't think I'd use it that much.
Really? Well, you're doing a lot of commercial work, though, aren't you, Mel?
Yeah. Although that's what we were flying out in California was Inspire 2s with X5 and X7 cameras under them, depending on what camera we had, because they had to go to X5s because they bought every single X7 that DJI had on the shelf at the time.
Now, what are you using now?
What's that?
What are you using now?
Well, right now I'm at home. The work's out in California.
Oh, I said when you go back out, though, what are you going to be using? You mentioned you're going back out there.
It'll probably be X7s.
Okay.
We had 70 crews, 72-man crews.
Wow.
And so we had a pilot and a gimbal operator. And so the pilot in charge, the PIC, he was responsible for the aircraft. He had to charge batteries. He had to turn in the SD card with all the data on it at the end of the day. He had to do all the paperwork. And the gimbal operator, all he had to do was take pictures. He had no real responsibility with the aircraft or anything. But yet, during flight operations, the gimbal operator was the one that was in charge because he's the one that had to tell the pilot where to put the aircraft so he could get the pictures.
Oh, yeah.
So it was kind of you had to be a team. You had to be able to work well together and work with the other people and do everything. It was a lot of fun. And and when we go back, And I hope we go back any day now. I want to get back to work. There's only going to be 20 teams. So out of 70 teams, 140 guys, they're going to bring back 20 teams, 40 guys and girls. There was a couple of gals on the crew. So I felt pretty good about being one of those 40 out of 140 that got offered the opportunity to go back out there.
What type of work did you do, or what did you film, or I'm just curious.
Power line structures, poles, structures. That's what we were taking pictures of.
Oh, okay.
Is that time enduring? Is it sort of like you have to have a lot of concentration, do you, Mel?
Yes.
Or do you have a lot of breaks?
Well, depending on what you call a break, but
I don't mean that. I mean not breaks in just for your mental stimulation to keep it going. It's not like you have to keep on going. I suppose it only goes as long as your batteries go, doesn't it? Until you. So
yeah,
that wouldn't be an issue, would it?
And depending on the wind and how far you had to fly and stuff. And, you know, batteries do start losing their ability to stay, you know, well charged and hold a charge. You know, their rate of discharge changes as they get older.
Mm.
And when you're flying,
so it wouldn't be like having to last on a simulator or anything, because the batteries would allow you to have that mental break.
Yeah. But it's still not much of a mental break, because you're still in field. You're still, you're bringing the drone back to change batteries and restart and go back to flying. So you're always on the lookout, no matter what. You're on the lookout for birds and other wildlife. My first weekend out in the field after class and all that, they put you with a team, a sensor operator and a pilot to learn. They called it OJT. So you would be the sensor operator, and the actual sensor operator assigned to that pilot would be looking over your shoulder, answering questions, helping you line up shots, things like that. I started with a kid named Dominic and his sensor operator, Mario, on a Saturday. And on that Friday the day before, the route, the paved road that we had to go out to get to the area where we were working, ran along a river for quite a distance, 3, 4, 5 miles, something like that. And on their way back on Friday afternoon, they saw bears, a bear and her 2 cubs on the other side of the river, which was only 100 feet wide. And so they stopped and they were filming them with their phones. We went out flying Saturday, and he told me, he said, yeah, we saw bears right across the river right here yesterday. And I'm like, really? He goes, oh yeah. We went out to our zone and we did our flying, and we came back. And then Sunday, our day off, a bunch of us went out to that spot in the river to go fly on our own drones for recreation. And 2 weeks later, a week and a half later, we were on the other side of the river going down these little 2-lane or 2-track grass roads out through the fields and over the hills and everything to get to where we had to be to fly. And so we were on the side of the river where the bears were, and we were close to where the bears were spotted. So even when you're not flying, you're prepping the aircraft, you're doing paperwork, whatever, somebody is always looking for wildlife. The last thing you want to do is be the last guy in the pickup truck if a bear comes around, you know.
Yeah.
Hey there, Deanna. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. I
Yeah.
shipped your package today. I sent your dad a Skype message with the tracking number on it, and the estimated delivery is Saturday to the P.O. box.
Hi, Dee.
So anyone that's not sure, I gave away a Zhiyun Smooth Q gimbal on my show. Who won it? Ricky Dove or something. I don't remember. Won it. And because he lives in England, and I didn't state U.S. shipping only, I was going to send it to him because he was the winner in the drawing, and we talked about it, and he sent me email and stuff, and we communicated back and forth. He said, you know what, it costs more to ship it than what it could buy it over here for, so just keep it, give it away again. So on, I think it was Lloyd's show, I had another drawing, and believe it or not, Claude won it. And I got with Claude on Skype, and I said, so what do you want to do? I said, I know that you were thinking about getting one, but I know that you were thinking about getting the same thing, the same kind that Sonia had, because you liked it better. And he said, yeah, just give it away to somebody else. And I said, well, he said, give it to somebody that's just starting out that might can use it. And I said, well, why don't you give it to somebody that's just starting out that might can use it? He says, what do you mean? I says, your daughter, you know, give it to Dee. You want it. You can give it to her if you want to.
That's right, for sure.
So
and she's a perfect candidate.
Exactly. So he got her hooked up with me. I got her address, and I sent it to the P.O. box. So it should be there Saturday, Dee, if all goes well. It might come sooner, but and it's a pretty good sized box, so it's not going to fit in your P.O. box unless you got one of them great big giant ones. So I might have better sent it to the house, but anyway, it's on its way. And if you want the tracking number, if you don't talk to your dad, I can give you the tracking number if you want to write it down. It's up to you. Or just, if it doesn't show up Saturday, let me know and I'll track it.
So who we still got in chat here? We still got Chris Hope and Peter Carroll way back. Everyone, I don't know who's in chat
for a while, so I don't know, but
yeah. So I thought we'd better pick up on that, Mel.
I hope they're all still here.
Yeah, so hi everyone.
Super Senna, is that Super Senna? Is that what you say? That's
Cena. Super Cena. That's D. That's
yeah.
Chris.
Okay. Might not get it till Monday anyway.
Yeah, Pete's here.
The 5-finger death punch concert. All righty then.
Private Eye Ariel is here.
Private Eye, welcome. So who? I don't think we got that many watching now. I don't even have.
We got 18 watching.
Really?
So we've still got a good number, yeah. That's why I questioned and I wondered so everyone could be welcomed.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely.
So we don't forget anyone, that's all, because we tend to do so when we're chatting away.
Sure. If anybody wants to come and join the panel and visit for a little bit, I'm welcome to sharing the stage. Obviously, I shared it with Trevor, right?
You can take that however you like. I don't take it. Just laugh.
Oh, it's metal music. You might not know them. Yeah.
There is a good song. It's one of them. It's a lot of Vietnam vet sort of music. They got a background from Vietnam vet. Yeah, they're quite good.
Oh boy, a transformer by Chris's house had a great and glorious explosion. Isn't that special? Well, Jim, you're welcome to come back in. You've got the link, buddy. Or maybe you don't. I don't know. You might have just clicked it from the chat. I didn't know you were going to bump out. I thought you were just going to walk away. But let me do this just for a minute. Anybody that wants to use it can real quick, and then I'm going to take it out again.
And they do a good version too of the House of the Rising Sun. They do a cover, that band that Cena's talking about.
Well, I'm going to have to go listen to that because I like that song.
It's a really good version. It's a very beefy metal, sort of a lot more, a bit more grunge. That's all, but it's worth listening to.
Oh, okay. I'll go take a listen to that.
It's a good old classic rock song. I like that.
Yeah, but it still keeps the true tasteful design of it.
True to the soul of the song.
Yeah, that's exactly how you put it, Mel.
I dislike those that I'll say destroy a song when they record it.
It's not destroyed at all. And I'm a big lover of all genre of music, comes to classical, even sound of music, right? But I like anything that's got quality, even heavy metal if it's good quality. So I'm sure you'd like it, Mel.
Okay, well, I'm not much on metal, and I got out of the hairband era long ago.
It's not. You wouldn't call it any metal. You wouldn't call it heavy metal stuff. It really, but it does appeal to some heavy metal people. But as a non-heavy metalist, you like it.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Cool. Very cool. I don't see anybody popping on that link, so I'm going to drag it out of there. At least I thought I was. Yeah, I guess I did. I don't know. Maybe it left. I hate to hear that Chris lost power. That's not good. That means he's got a pretty good storm going on. Welcome back, Jim.
Hey, buddy.
In this moment is our special guest. She's totally excited.
That's Claude's daughter, right?
Yep. See, I've only been introduced to that band in the last couple of months, and I'd be very excited if I was to attend.
Lloyd,
What's that mic home?
Fix your audio.
Oh, it's only Lloyd.
No.
Is that Lloyd?
Yeah.
Where's your partner?
That was a real thing.
Yeah. What's wrong with my audio?
Isn't that his intro?
Hey, you going, Cobber?
Headphones, yes. I'm on the Hangouts with Mel as soon as I figure out how the hell this works.
Well, you got a hum in your background.
Oh, just to let you know, too, guys, there's another version of Hangouts, another version of Zoom for anyone out there in the chat land. It's called it's exactly like Zoom, but you're allowed to have one host and 5 people for free. And I've just got to remember the name of it.
I thought that's what Zoom was. Unless you're paying.
No. If you pay for Zoom, you can get 100 people.
Yeah, if you pay.
Yes, but this other mob is you're allowed one host and 5 other people for free. All right, and it's called StreamYard. It's called StreamYard, and it's extremely easy to use. So it's just an option for those who are considering toying with Zoom or
who are cheap,
or Skype.
or people who are cheap.
Yeah, people who are cheap that see, I'll give you an example. Mr. Crowley, he hasn't got a lot of money, right? But he's been considering on going
on the internet.
Zoom. And that'd be probably perfect for him because he wouldn't need any more than 5 people up on his panel.
Yeah. Lloyd, there's a bad buzz in your background there.
Yeah, it's because I'm on my iPad, Mel.
Okay.
So, and it's just my headsets. I was too late. I just wanted to come in and say hi for a minute. I'm just too lazy to get up and go into the office.
All right. Lloyd, how are you?
I'm doing good, Mr. Lockwood. How are you?
I'm doing good, sir.
So, what I was saying, Mel, about the about Lance was the fact that as a hobbyist, we're not allowed to fly in uncontrolled airspace until it's available for hobbyists to use after the 23rd.
Now hold on. You're putting out bad information there, Mr. Lloyd.
Now, you mean controlled airspace?
Because uncontrolled airspace you can fly in.
Yeah, I can fly in uncontrolled airspace. I can fly in controlled airspace, not uncontrolled airspace.
Wrong.
After the vice versa. Thank you. I meant back. I can fly in uncontrolled airspace currently.
Class G. Exactly.
Class G. After the 23rd, when Lance is available for the hobbyist to use, it's not that we can't get it. We're not allowed to use it until after the 23rd. Then we can put in for permission to fly in uncontrolled airspace, but not until July 23rd.
Controlled airspace.
Yeah, whatever. You know what the hell I mean, damn it. Controlled airspace. It's too damn late at night. I took my pills. Can't you tell? Hell,
so you're drugged up.
Yeah, I'm in bed. Look here.
So, okay. Don't point it at Judy. I know better.
Did you take the blue pill or the red pill?
I took several. And not only that, Judy's got on more clothes than I do. Just the image you wanted, right, Ron? That's going to give you nightmares the rest of the night.
Yeah. Our eyes are bleeding already.
A fat old man with no clothes in bed. Yeah, that's what everybody wanted to see.
You got to be careful because Xanax is a blue pill too. You don't want to get those two mixed up.
Can't take the blue pill. Messes with my high blood pressure medicine.
There you go.
Okay.
He cracks himself up.
Good night, Lloyd.
I'm just laughing at Ron. He's about to lose it. Sorry about that.
That's all right.
They'll be on stage all night, guys.
Yeah.
How you going, Greg? Greg's just coming to the chat. Oz by Drones.
Yep, I said hello to him.
Oh, did you? I missed that. Sorry, mate.
Okay, folks, I am out of here. I'll catch you guys later. All right.
Take care, Lloyd.
All right. Okay.
Good night, Lloyd. Thanks.
Yep. Good night. Yep.
And how you going, Rick Herbert?
Howdy, Rick. So, anyway, he crashed himself up. He already did that years ago. Face is cracked.
It's funny. Oh my gosh, I'm crying here.
With the blue pill mix up?
Yeah.
The blue pill mishap.
Oh, yeah.
He went to bed and went to sleep instead of the other thing.
The other thing.
Oh boy. Okay, this is a drone channel. He said, "Bite me, Greg." Yep, that's funny.
Hey, Rick Caliber's in. Hey, Rick.
Yep. How you doing, Rick? Good to see you. I decided to pop on just for a little while. and I decided to use Google Hangouts so that I wouldn't be using a whole bunch of bandwidth running vMix and stuff, because that uses a lot of bandwidth when I do that.
Yeah, you're still running through your 4G, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Hangouts doesn't use any of your 4G.
Yeah,
Just
a little
the
bit.
stream does, right?
Yeah.
It's not additional, I guess, is what I'm talking about.
I thought I remember Claude saying Hangouts was going away. That you're.
Yeah, they're.
It's what they keep saying, but they already made another program called Duo that you use your phone number instead of emails for.
And yeah, and I don't know anything about any of that, but I know they have another. They're going to have another service like Hangouts, YouTube/webcam or something like that. But I don't know if you're going to be able to have guests on and stuff like this. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's limited. The rumor is.
Claude had mentioned something about like it's going to be like a Skype or something. The new, or is that OBS? I guess you guys are the experts on this. I don't know a whole lot about this, but
we're only learning.
The only thing I know for certain is unless you use a broadcasting software platform that has incorporated connections, it's more difficult to stream and have anyone join you on your show, because you have to incorporate Skype or Zoom or some external source to bring others into your stream live, like we're doing with this right now. Wirecast, as I like to lovingly call it, Wire Crash, just because of Mr. Greg over there.
Yeah, he loves it too.
vMix and Wirecast both have their own incorporated platform. Wirecast calls it Rendezvous. vMix calls it vMix Call. You connect directly to your host through a server, and there is no magic monkey virtual cable garbage or NDI that you have to do with Skype or Zoom or anything. There's nothing special about it.
They're all just web conferencing apps anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Skype and Zoom, that's exactly what they are. They're web conferencing apps, and they're intended for that purpose. And they do well for that purpose. My company that I'm working with uses Zoom for their morning meetings. We had a briefing every morning, and they use Zoom. And it was perfect. I mean, it worked well for that. But when you try to start incorporating it into other things like Wirecast or vMix, it just gets more difficult. And I don't like to make things hard on myself. I do this for fun. And at the time, I had the money to buy the program that I found easiest to use and most friendly and so forth as an end user. And so that's what I bought. And I have no trouble. In fact, Jim, I showed you just how quick and easy it is to bring someone in.
True enough.
And it depending on how many guests you want to have, you can buy the pro version, or you can buy a middle of the road version and just be able to have one or two guests, or you can buy a lower version and not have any guests at all. Just do a monologue broadcast like some people do. And Greg is very well versed on a lot of all this kind of stuff. And he's right. You have to have a separate NDI channel per guest. And it merges audio via virtual cables, not actual plug-in cables. And if you don't get your settings right, a virtual cable doesn't make the connection, and not everybody can hear everybody else, which is why a lot of times when Ken's running Skype instead of Ken Heron, instead of running Rendezvous, some of the people can't hear some of the stuff that's going on his channel when they're his guest. And it's just like Rick says, it's too much crap in one bag. So that's why Greg uses Rendezvous. That's why I use vMix Call. And at the time that I decided to start really get into doing my live streams, I had the money to buy the program, so I bought it. So I bought the one that I found easiest for me to use, because I'm not a technoid robot like Greg is. So there you have it. So I push mine and Greg pushes his. I mean, I tell people about mine all the time. It's not mine, but the one I use.
Yeah.
And it's, to me, way easier to use than OBS. To me, it is.
Well, that's
How's your weather up there, Greg? Have you got Arctic weather like we have in South Australia?
It's your winter time there, isn't it, Trevor?
Yeah, it is. But this time of the year, we get very, very cold in the morning, but we're having a fair bit of Arctic weather coming across from the south. And so it's very, very, very cold in the wind factor.
Yeah.
It's cuts free.
Yeah. Hey, Mike B. Lloyd, you don't use Streamlabs OBS. You use vMix. But we did play with OBS by Streamlabs. And
Lloyd went to bed.
we found Streamlabs version of OBS a little more stable than the regular OBS that you get off of OBS's website, because OBS is open platform, so anybody can modify it and program it and play with it and change it and dink with it, and that means anybody can put a virus in it, in my opinion. So that's another reason I don't particularly care for OBS.
What's the best stuff out there, Mel, as far as, and do you have to pay for it?
For broadcasting?
Yeah, for doing what you guys do. Yeah.
Well, that's opinion. It's 100% opinion. It's like what's the best luxury car out there, Cadillac or Lincoln, you know?
Right.
He can't sleep after he took a little blue pill. Well, at least he won't roll out of bed. I use vMix because when I was looking at which one to do, and you're right, Lloyd, Lincoln is the better one of the two. But anyway, Lloyd and I both spent days messing with OBS, and it took us a couple, 3 days to get it set up looking the way we liked it. And we did a couple broadcasts with it even. It was extremely difficult to bring in a guest and have everything work with OBS. I looked at vMix and I looked at Wirecast. Wirecast, when I opened it up and looked at it, just confused me. It just didn't look user-friendly. Greg says it's wonderful. I opened up vMix, and literally in less than 10 minutes, I was broadcasting with a set and a green screen and everything. So to me, it was vMix was the way to go. It was user friendly, easy to use. It works well. It's very solid platform. It doesn't crash like Wirecast has quite a high crash rate. Things go wrong. I don't know why, and I don't know what causes them. But all I do know is that I've not been able to make vMix crash during a show or at the end of the show when I'm getting ready to close things down and stop the stream. I just haven't had those kind of issues. So in a way, I'm kind of glad I bought vMix over Wirecast.
It helps to have solid service. Like Mel put up a Yagi antenna to ensure his service. But with people like me, my internet will go straight to 0 and then come back. It's like choppy service sometimes. Like you said earlier, I was.
You were cutting out a little bit.
How you going, Tim? There in the chat from Scientific UFO, or however you pronounce it.
Pleiadian.
I wasn't going to try that word. Scientist UFO, but I do know his name's Tim. I think.
Yeah, he's getting himself some major T motors.
Yes, he wants it for his UFO. His personal drone.
And send. There you go, Greg. Check your inbox, brother.
You know, I downloaded that Wirecast app, but I never did use it. Come to think of it. I knew Greg was having problems with it. Sorry.
Yeah.
For a while there, I was watching Greg all the time, like I was by drones, and then he was having a lot of issues with it, and I ended up having to only watch the replays because I could not get it live for whatever reason. I couldn't participate, so I used to watch it later that evening.
Well, I just helped Sonari get internet set up and ordered for her house. For the first year, I got her 300 megabits speed. It's fiber, so it's symmetrical. So it's 300 up, 300 download.
Wow. I'm jealous.
It'll probably actually run around 50 or 75 up and down, depending on how many people are using the trunk and so forth. But it's fiber, so it won't be as affected as like cable or something like that.
Yeah, Trevor's running fiber too, I think.
Yeah, I'm running fiber. I feel like I've got the best internet in Australia.
$50 a month.
Wow. Are you kidding?
That's good.
For 1,024 gigabytes of data per month.
I pay more than that. I pay 70 for 100 down, 10 up. I could go to their 400 down, 100 up, but what would be the difference if it's going to cut off? There'll be, it'll cut off for about 5 to 10 seconds and then come right back on.
See, I only require 60 up, 60 down, right? And the thing is, it doesn't matter how high you get it, as long as you got it consistently.
Right.
Mine runs consistently between 25 to 35 all the time. And while that's running consistently, I don't need a huge amount of bandwidth, as long as I've got adequate consistency.
But you do need a minimum amount of bandwidth for
as long as I've got the minimum and above, I'm happy. I'm cruising.
Yeah, exactly.
I have that already.
Hello, Greg.
G'day.
Hey, Greg, did your service improve?
Yeah. Before I answer any tech stuff, can I just say to my other fellow Aussies around, go the Blues.
You got a team winning?
We had our equivalent of closest equivalent would be like the Super Bowl or something like that.
Yeah, it is equivalent to that. Well done, Greg.
Oh, okay, cool.
Go the Blues.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I guess my problems with broadcasting and all of that kind of stuff comes in two parts. 3 parts, actually. I'll give you 3. One is the internet, and Telstra has been challenging, and I'm currently in a semi-stable state at the moment, but
that's
who
good to
knows
hear.
how long that will last. And eventually they'll give me NBN, and that's going to be NBN on cable, and that's going to have the same potential problems as what I get now. So that's part 1, the network. Part 2, the hardware. I'm running a Mac computer, and there's a challenge for Mac users if you're using a hardware encoder. Every single Mac user using a hardware encoder, and this happens with OBS and every other piece of software, whenever you do a transition from one shot to another, all of a sudden your bandwidth spikes higher than what your software's got it configured at.
Oh.
Now, if you put that together with a badly performing internet company, and it's just totally screwed because it's sending more than my pipe can handle. It's as simple as that. So I've got workarounds for that. But the last one, Wirecast, yeah, it was pretty crap to start with. I've been through some bad times, but I think I've tamed the animal. But I got a few other people who are exploring it at the moment, some friends of mine exploring it, and they've had a good experience from their, first few days of playing around with the software. So
And the only downside that I know of for vMix that's a true downside is they don't yet make it for the fruity computers.
Yeah.
what?
It's an IBM-based platform only at this moment.
Yeah. Ironic bloody machines. But other than that.
You've got a synonym for everything, Greg.
Yeah. But having said that, Dobo has had his fair share of swearing about his software and setup over the time as well. So I think I've got the view that grass is always greener on the other side. Each piece of software, vMix versus Wirecast, they've both got their challenges, and you just get used to it.
vMix doesn't like Google Chrome, and I'll surrender that. That's a fact. And
whereas I can use Chrome or Firefox, doesn't matter. Either one will work just fine.
I could probably use Firefox. I've not tested it with Firefox on the call-ins, but regular Internet Explorer is pretty much.
Did you say Internet Explorer?
Yeah, it's pretty much junk for everything. So,
what are you running, Mel?
I'm running Chrome.
Okay.
Good night. Good night. Good night. Back from the sky. Good night.
What's Greg getting out of the closet? Is Greg coming out of the closet?
Yeah, he's coming out of the closet with something.
He's coming out the closet. Crikey!
There we go. Microshaft wind blows 98. Complete with Internet Exploder, and it's got a Billigotchi in there. You remember the Tamagotchis? Well, this has got a Billigotchi. You just got to feed it money to keep it happy.
Look at him bending over.
It's pretty too.
Where the heck did you get that?
I used to work at a computer store many years ago, and I kept it.
Hello, Dan.
Anyway, let me just finish off and say, my Wirecast experience started bad. I'm in a place where my broadcast works now, and the challenges that I've had, I know how to work around them. But yeah, like I said, I think the grass is always greener. You'll be happy with one piece of software. You go to another one and you'll get a different set of problems, and vice versa.
Sure. Yep, and that's really extremely true. And when I made my choice for what I wanted to use, I just simply went with what worked the best for me.
Yeah.
Just like for my vehicles.
Yeah.
I think a Chevrolet truck is better than a Ford truck, which is why I've got a 1-ton Silverado dually, long foot, long bed, 4-door diesel, you know, super duper pickup truck, where the next guy might like the Ford with the Power Stroke diesel and so forth.
But I tell you what, the reason I picked Wirecast over alternatives, one, there is the technology, but I do have, believe it or not, hiding around 2 sacrosanct non-Apple machines in the house, but I still decided to go with Wirecast, even if I could run vMix. And the reasons why, number one, back then, the layering, I like the way it layers. So you got your 5 master layers and you got all these other things under it. But now there's a super duper new thing that I really love, the video and sound library. You know, with your normal support for the software, you get access to this royalty-free library of heaps of stuff, and it's really cool. We played that song once before, didn't we, Mel?
Yep, exactly.
You have to pay for that for your Wirecast service, right? Greg?
No. What do you mean?
With all those extras, you have to pay, right?
Yeah, Wirecast is not a free piece of software.
Right, okay.
Okay, but neither is Mel's software. But if I was choosing between the two, I'd pick Wirecast, and those were the 2 reasons why. One, I like the layering and the user interface, and 2, I absolutely love the library that comes with it.
And I'll be honest, I haven't explored all of the capabilities of vMix. Lloyd's explored more than I have. I haven't taken the time to sit down and go through all the different capabilities that it has with lower thirds and all of that stuff. And I'll be adding that stuff in here pretty soon, I'm sure. But
how's he doing all his audio?
You get the same layering with vMix, I think, Greg, because each input has 10 layers that you can work with, and you can have unlimited number of inputs.
Yeah, it's just different. Just excuse me a sec. I'm just changing something on my rig.
Yeah, I'm a little bit worried what he's going to come back with here. You never know what Greg's going to do.
Hey, Mel.
Yes, Ron.
I was going to say goodnight to you guys, and thank you for having me on. And I worked a 24-hour shift last night and come home this morning, and I'm getting a little sleepy.
Yeah, you look like you're dragging in the backside there, brother.
Yeah. So, but thank you again. You guys all have a nice evening, and hope to catch you again.
You know how to get to the vMix chat, right? Or the vMix chat, the Hangout chat, Ron?
Well, I just got your link.
Up in the Google Hangouts window, there's some icons in the top left corner, and one of them is a chat box. If you click that,
up in the left corner.
Yeah, top left corner.
Okay.
I'm putting my personal cell phone in there.
Okay.
You jot that number down.
Okay.
And just shoot me a text or whatever. Let me know who it is, and you can let me know on that drone.
Oh yeah, yeah. Okay. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I would definitely let you know on that. I'm going to talk to my buddy tomorrow too.
Sure.
Maybe between one of us, maybe we can take it off your hands.
Yeah, and I imagine when I shipped the other one to Colorado that I sold to Drone Crush, I think shipping was about $45. So
okay,
this one's a little heavier. That one only had 2 batteries in it. This one will have 3 more.
Right, that's a big case you have too.
Plus, it's a pretty good size, yeah. So that has an effect on the shipping. It does have a padlock tab on it. Okay. So what I might do is just ship it not try to box it up, you know.
Right.
Just ship it the case as it is, and put a combination padlock on it, and then I'll give you the combination so you can open it.
Okay. Yeah.
Something like that.
I'll let you know in the next couple of days.
Okay.
All right, Lloyd.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Mel. I said I'm tired.
Calling
All
you
right, Ron.
All right, you guys all have a nice evening.
Have a good night. Thanks for coming in.
Okay, take care now.
And thanks for all your questions, man. They're all great questions.
All right, thank you. All right, bye-bye now.
Good night.
Bye.
And now Greg dropped out too.
You know, Mel, those batteries haven't come down any in price. The 40
No, they haven't.
still
They're
like
still $150 a piece.
Yeah.
Yeah. But most of the batteries haven't come down. I mean, even the Spark batteries are still $50-$60.
That's crazy, man.
Dan, are you still here? I know you were in chat there for a minute. Are you still here with us?
Greg will be back in a bit, he said.
Dan's all teed off. His little dinghy boat got eaten by an alligator.
Did it?
Oh, I didn't hear about that.
Oh, you didn't see his video? He
No.
he was out there racing one of his boats around. It actually got eaten by an alligator.
Oh, the radio control boat, you mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
And the gator spit it out.
yeah. That happened some time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny. I mean, it's not, but it is. Wow.
It was cool. It was a cool
Yeah,
video.
that's quite a good video, actually.
I'm surprised something like that wouldn't go viral, you know? But
Well, it was him. You know, had it been someone else, that would have gone viral.
oh. Dan, I heard a rumor that you're going to give away your Spark because you're PO'd at it or something.
I think he hates DJI now.
He's always hated DJI.
Yeah, he's never been a big fan of DJI, that's for sure.
There's only a couple that he is a fan of.
The link is still there, right? He can jump
No,
on.
I'd have to post it again. I pulled it out.
Oh, okay.
He's not a big fan of Hudson either.
There's Greg.
God.
Sorry, couldn't resist.
Dan, there's a link if you want to join the panel for a little bit.
Now,
He
what
got
is
40K views on that, evidently.
Yeah, 39,000 views.
Yeah.
Mel? What is Lloyd using for his
Good night, Lloyd.
audio?
He's using something on an iPad, which is kind of
Well-
cool. There's a few soundboards on an iPad.
What was the question?
What is Lloyd using for his vMix audio sounds? His sound effects?
Oh, an app on the iPad from the Apple store.
Okay.
Yeah.
James, what are you using for your kind of stuff? Are you using Mac or PC?
I use a other than Mac, so I don't have to hear it.
Yeah. There is a cool one that I use for Apple occasionally, but
But
yeah, I
do
don't
have
know
an
the
iPad
equivalence.
Mini. I've got an iPad Mini, if that counts, Greg.
No.
Okay.
I've got two iPads, a mini and a big one, but they're for flying the drones. They're not for anything else. That's the only reason I bought them.
So the whole idea was that I heard about Hangouts shifting was that they were trying to compete with Apple's FaceTime. Does anybody use FaceTime?
FaceTime is only like Facebook individual chat, video chat.
I do use it. So Apple to Apple family members, but also calling people overseas, other family members.
And
Is
Rodney
it a video call?
for his grandkids.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can do video calls with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rodney
But
Bell
it's-
uses it for his family.
Yeah, but it's not available for something that you'd plug into a stream. It's a completely different kettle of fish.
Right.
Well, Apple doesn't let you use anything but Apple.
Mm-hmm.
We all know that.
Yeah, I'm not very excited about Apple. I have had bad experiences.
You know, apples were so good when we were kids. I mean, they tasted good. Granny
Oh,
Smith.
yeah.
apple pie, the whole 9 yards. You know what I mean?
yeah, that's it.
And then Steve Jobs got to them.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Always one bad apple in
Bloody
every bushel,
Steve.
right?
Yeah. That bloody Steve.
Poor Greg.
I'm just sitting here. It's better than taking the bait.
No, there's I can't say that I know much about Apple computers because the tip of that ink pen right there has more space on it than what I know about Apple computers because I've never ever used one. I tried using one once and couldn't make it work, so I pushed it away. I started with IBM compatible, and that's where I've been ever since.
The only experience I've had is they've always been good for editing.
What? The apples?
Apples, yeah, for the benefits of the resolution and all that.
Oh, my granddaughter loves to play with that iMovie.
Yeah.
Good
Yeah.
Lord. She comes up with some productions on it. Who's putting that up?
Who else?
Yeah, it's got to be Greg, right?
Oh, absolutely.
The Wirecast library has everything.
And I don't even know if there's a library like that in vMix. I imagine there is. I mean, I don't have any idea.
But those who do have Apple, like Starcop and that, like Mac computers, they swear by them. They love them.
Well, sure. And those that have IBM swear by them,
That's
Did I just see Drone Worship in the house?
Yes, he is.
Absolutely. Just waiting for a good time to bring him in. Hello, Dan.
Gentlemen, what's going on?
Hey, Dan.
How many?
How's your dinghy?
Yeah.
Good. It's good.
How many hits did that thing get?
Oh, dude, it only got like, I don't know, under 40,000, just under 40,000, somewhere around there.
So that little catchphrase where I started calling your boat a dinghy, that seems to be taking off. Everybody's digging it.
Yeah. I mean, I was deciding on a name change anyway, so I remembered you saying dinghy, and I wanted to be funny, so I figured I'd just include Mel Mel's dinghy in there. So yeah, it's Drone Worship and his dinghy.
Why not?
Right, so that's fun. I told you I'm not about YouTube to be a professional. I'm here to have fun and enjoy myself. If I grow, I grow. If I don't, I don't.
And now you just need a captain's hat.
I got that. I got
I've seen
it.
on his last video.
It's not in here
Facebook.
with me.
It'd be
Yeah,
hard
I
to
do.
wear a headset with it, but yeah.
Yeah. No. So I was gonna refer to myself as the skipper.
It looks good.
Yeah.
You just need the eye patch and the parrot on your shoulder.
Oh well, then I'd have to change the name of my boat. Right now, it's the USS probably gonna sink.
Mhm.
And
He could go more the
Well, what you really need to get is Ginger and Marianne then.
I was
Yeah.
about to say that.
I was going to say he could go more the Gilligan's Island route.
Yes, I already put that on his video. Where's Gilligan?
Marianne wasn't bad looking. Ginger looked used.
So you inquired about the Spark. The truth is, man, I'm tired of it. I've been grounded now 6 times by it. I don't like. It's gotten to the point where I don't even. Here's my biggest issue. I think is that it's 50-50. I take it out 50% of the time. I have a good flight. The other 50% of the time, I'm dealing with some unknown issue that the drone has accumulated, or a flight restriction in the area, or a blah 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 that really has nothing that even applies to me. But because of their strictness, DJI doesn't allow the bird to go up. So it's gotten to the point where I'm like, I don't even know why I take it with me on trips, because I get out there and I can't fly anyways. It's like, to me, it's become a joke. It was fun at first, and yeah, all right, cool. It's a nice little travel-friendly drone, but it's just way too restrictive for my needs. So then somebody was like, "Oh, why don't you put the non-DJI restricted firmware on there?" Because now I'm investing time and effort into something I don't care about. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've already lost interest in it. It's not something I want to put that kind of time and effort into. I'd rather put it into an open source drone and make it better than take something that should already be good and try to make it better and improve on the situation. You know, do you get where I'm going with this?
Yeah,
I do.
Yep.
I do.
Yep.
So it's like,
Send it to me.
send it to you for $400, Mel. I will sign it and send it to you.
I can buy a brand new one for $400.
And I'm with you, but I won't have my signature on it.
And like American Express, it's priceless.
Exactly. One of a kind.
It'd be nice if there was an open source drone out there that you could kit together.
You know, there are, though. There's plenty of them. That's why I mess with them. I'm sick. I'm so sick and tired of DJI just playing ball with the FAA, man. It's just ruining it for me. I get that a lot of people love DJI. Mel, I know you're a fan. I'm not sure if there was better options available, if you would still stick it out with DJI, though. If you could find something that was less restrictive, I'm sure you'd probably take that route.
Yep.
You know? And I think the majority of people probably would, but unfortunately it's not available to us right now. So I'd rather go back to what I know and understand, and that's open source instead of proprietary, and have my fun on something I'm actually going to enjoy my time spending time on.
And I'm just the opposite. I don't want to spend time on it to get it to work. I just want to go fly.
But see, I don't feel like you're like the Bebop 2 is already good. What, like, if you already get, like, I think the furthest we've had the Bebop 2 out was 3 miles, and that was with no limitations, all the settings turned off. It went, and I didn't have to do anything special. 3 miles on Wi-Fi. I'd say that's fairly good for not being OcuSync or any of the above. You know what I'm saying? My whole thing is that I don't care as long as the drone can go a mile. Do I need to go further? No. For what? Number one, it's illegal. You know what I'm saying? And if I'm trying to,
it's illegal to go a mile.
That was what.
Well, it's illegal to go a mile if you can't see it and understand orientation, which is where the Spark comes in, or the Solo comes into play. I can see that thing a mile away. I know it sounds weird, but if you park it in a cloud, it's very easy to see it. It's simple. I can see it. I will start losing sight of it at 5,547 feet. That is my furthest I've ever been able to see it with my own eyes. And that's looking down and still looking up and being able to spot it. So people ask why I fly such big drones, because if a cop ever says, hey, where is it? I can go, see that little dot there in that white cloud? That's my drone. You know what I'm saying? You can't do that with a Spark. You can't do that with a Mavic. You can't do it with anything. So it's all based on line of sight. What you can.
I could do that with my Inspire.
No, really.
Oh. Yeah, but his eyes are a little bit older than yours, Dan.
Well, and I agree. And you know, I'm not saying you're old, Mel, but I've always had fairly good vision, man. And I've never lost a drone by visual line of sight. If I can't see it, I'm coming back. You know, back in the day when it wasn't such an issue, I used to go way out of my line of sight, but now I try to stay in my relative line of sight. Like I really do. I do my best to make sure that I can always see it at all times. You know what I'm saying? Now, if that's a mile out, that's a mile out. I'm not going to argue with myself. I can still see it, and I can understand orientation by pushing left or right and go, okay, look, it's going left on the horizon. I understand orientation. You know, if I can see it physically making those movements, then is it technically out of line of sight? No, because I can see it. You know?
True.
Dan, I'm in Melbourne. You're across from me over in the Tampa area, right?
Yes, sir.
So you got that Class C airport there to contend with.
You also have MacDill Air Force Base.
Yeah. I've got Patrick Air Force Base, Melbourne Airport, Vero Beach Airport. Then there's a little X-59. But I amazingly haven't had any DJI bullshoot.
I have. So this thing is basically unflyable in the Tampa area, anywhere. I have been grounded so many times by their new geofencing that I'm just tired of taking this out. I will take any other drone before I take this. The reason I took this out on the boat was because of room restrictions in the boat. It's only a 12-foot dinghy. You know what I'm saying? We're not talking like a big boat. We're talking about I have limited room to put stuff. We got coolers, fishing poles, 2 people. I'm a fat dude. I already take up the whole back seat. I got 2 motors on it, a battery. You know what I'm saying? Like there's this was taken out for space needs. And I can see now that next time the Bebop 2 is going with me. Huh?
bigger
Hey
boat.
Dan, let me give you a hypothetical.
Go ahead.
Dan, just imagine if it was Parrot that was the dominant company with 80% of the market and DJI was one of the smaller ones.
Sure.
Do you think Parrot would implement geofencing kind of stuff because they were seen as the biggest market leader? Do you think DJI has kind of been forced into that position, or how
No.
did they get there?
No. I think DJI is choosing to play ball so they get to do a lot more fun stuff with their drones. They get... Parrot was leader in the industry for a long time before DJI finally stole that from them. Okay,
Sure.
so
But that was when it was a much smaller industry too, right? So if you turn it around,
I agree with that. I 100% agree with that. Okay, it was a smaller industry. Don't get me wrong. Parrot, in my eyes, is still, to me, they were the original tech people.
I agree.
Like optical flow. I mean, the best
Yeah.
Linux-based stabilization we've ever seen on a platform to date, next to the Skydio R1. Like Mel and me have gone over this a couple of times. I still feel that they are able to put out very technical drones that have a lot of features for a very good price and function well. Okay, which is something I don't see DJI doing. Now, Parrot has had a bad, nasty rap for a while here. Parrot is failing. They're getting out of the consumer market and going more towards agricultural and professional aspects.
Mapping and professional.
Right. They're getting out of the whole consumer market basis. They realize their calling is farming and all that whole agricultural scene. And that saddens me greatly because every product I've ever had from them has been absolutely fantastic. And I think that DJI likes to play ball with the FAA a tad too much. Now, you say it's because you think it's because they're so big they have no choice. Is that what you're saying?
No, I think it's got that way. But if I was going to look at what I would change right now, I'd say number one, it shouldn't be asking DJI servers. It should be asking FAA servers or CASA in Australia. Never should a foreign power be deciding where I can and can't fly.
And I agree
with that many times.
I do agree with that.
I agree with that. And that is my biggest.
How has it gotten along? How has it gotten this far, this many years? It's 4 or 5 years now.
Well, because
we keep buying their product.
Right, exactly. You keep sucking up to them. You keep giving them exactly what they want. YouTubers keep going out and saying how fantastic DJI is. They're going to continue staying at the top of the market.
But how does the U.S. government not demand that these things don't connect to China?
Because, they
weren't ready. They
Right.
weren't ready.
I think that the other problem with that was they had already released a ton of these things to us, and it was too big of a number to actually control, which is why they started with the military. No military use for any DJI products. Okay, now you guys remember that went down, right?
That's changing.
And I agree with that. That is changing. They're making DJI drones now specifically for military purposes.
But that's bullshit as well. That is absolute rubbish. They're going and saying we're going to use the same shit and we're going to assemble them over in the USA, which might give you some more jobs, but it's the same hardware and the same.
Sure.
Well, no, they're going to put a different set of firmware on it, but you still don't know what's in the firmware and you still don't know what it's doing. Not saying it's right or wrong, but
I agree with that.
It's a marketing thing.
I agree with that too.
I agree with that. However, I think that we have enough people now that can actually tear into them and figure out where these signals are going, where this metadata that's being tracked is being sent to. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I reverse engineered that a long time ago. I was one of the original ones who actually did the video on that and got a proc showing where it went to, and Ken used my video. That was my video way back when. And the challenge is right now, because we've pushed them so far, they've gone and hardened up their app, and they've hardened it to the point where it's annoying and that it's harder to go and reverse engineer it. And I just haven't got the time to do it again. If I was going to make a bet, I would make a bet that there's not too much calling home to China compared to before. There'll be some stuff in there which is essential, but I just don't have the energy to go and do it again, if that makes sense.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean Ken Heron. I meant the guy on Twitter who got screwed out of his $30,000 bounty.
Yeah, he's a mate of mine, Hostile.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we work on the same team together on the Slack groups and all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
I was sticking on the iOS side, and he was sticking on the firmware side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess to get back to topic here, do I think Parrot would follow the rules? No, I don't. I don't think they would cater to the FAA. I don't, whether they owned 80% of the market or not, I don't see Parrot wanting to play ball with the FAA in any means.
Let me ask you one other question then. If you could put the clock forward, and you know, with the Lance and all of that kind of stuff, and in Australia, we just recently had CASA come out and launch an API, and they've taken away all of their old apps. So what I think is going to happen very soon is the DJI Go app will talk to our CASA app, and probably 12 months from now, it'll talk to an FAA equivalent database. Would that change your mind if you were already there today? Just spitballing.
Yeah, interesting.
It's still control, no matter how you look at it.
I don't think Parrot would volunteer into it. I think maybe
over time they'll all get asked. I reckon they will.
Well, no, and I don't disagree with that either. I think that's coming, but voluntarily, I don't think Parrot would step into that. I think they would do it if it was an absolute necessity to continue furthering their business. They would probably do it if they knew they might get shut down or not be allowed to sell their products here. That would probably change the whole ball game. And maybe that's what our government offered China. Maybe that was the thing. Like, you either start working with our FAA so that we can regulate these things, or we don't want you to sell your products here. Maybe that's how that went down. I don't know, because I'm not these companies. I can sit here and speculate until I'm blue in the face. You know what I'm saying? And probably never get any further into the truth of that, you know? But I guess if I had to assume, DJI is doing it by choice. They don't seem like a company who would try to veer away from the FAA, because they know if they try to follow the rules that they'll be allowed to do other things that these other companies won't be able to in the future. Yeah. So it seems like in my
strategic.
Right. And I believe everything that DJI does is strategic. I agree with that. Yeah. So, you know, I don't know. Parrot doesn't seem to care. They were happy just selling to France, you know. And they didn't start having major issues until they started branching out. And then everybody over here was mad for quite some time by their firmware issues with. Anyways, I'm going to get off topic here, but all I'm saying is Parrot, I think, would probably not fall into that realm. If I had to take a solid guess here, I would say Parrot would not play ball if they didn't have to.
Anyway.
Mel?
It's all academic.
I tend to agree partially, but there is a huge market in every country. And all of these manufacturers are going to end up working with the individual idiosyncrasies of each country, I think, in order to get their share of that market. If you want to grow your company, you have to accommodate for the idiosyncrasies of the markets that you want to play games in.
And they could do separate models, like a US model or something like that.
They already do.
Which is what they're working on right now. That was the whole military thing, and then moving the base over. Well, I think moving the manufacturing over to here is to avoid tariffs, honestly. But
that is tariff. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I think that's the main reason for that. But, you know, it's also good faith on DJI's part to say, hey.
I was talking about Parrot.
Oh, yeah, Parrot's not coming over here. They're more than happy to stay in their country and do what they're doing.
Yeah.
You know what I would love, Dan, is a way where you could open up and decouple a couple of features inside DJI, one of which would be everything that talks to the internet. You know, have some sort of API where you can go and say, hey, the US government can go and put its little thing on there. Everything else functionality-wise is going to be the same, but this little outward-facing thing is going to be your filter of what is and is going to talk outside. Second thing is the command and control link back to the aircraft. That also be a module that is user replaceable because, again, military applications, you want to encrypt it, whatever it is you want to do with it.
Right.
That way, there's no problem saying, I know with certainty that the encryption to the aircraft is what I want. I know that the data communications going back out of the app is what I want.
Greg, do you remember
Can I hug you?
when you open up the Go4 app, how many internet connections is it opening?
I've still got the video that I did of that. It's just too many, but that was a long time ago. I haven't done a recent one.
Greg, that is open source spelled out at its finest.
Yeah, but no. We're in agreement. But the difference is they won't open source the rest of it, and they don't want to for commercial gain. So why not go halfway? Why not go halfway and say, what are the bits that you and I and everyone else want open source? Let's open those components up. There's no commercial gain from DJI from those two components.
Right.
The SDK was a joke. $10,000 to get something running is ridiculous.
These toothpicks suck. Yeah. That's the third one I broke. I barely pushed on my tooth. Now I'm getting upset. Don't buy dollar store toothpicks.
Couldn't be the conversation.
Yeah, third world problems.
Sorry. This probably came from third world.
They're manufactured by the same people that make everybody else's toothpicks.
What happened to the Evo? You never hear about that, or the Autel X-Star Premium, or any of those.
Wow, the X-Star was a shot in the dark anyways, man. That thing failed miserably. Everybody thought that was going to be the Phantom killer, and it didn't end up being anything. You got to remember, they were having tons of compass calibration problems with the X-Star, which just drove people away like crazy. Man, I don't think they ever got that worked out either. I don't know if it was on the firmware end or it was just a crappy setup they put into the drone. But man, I got this firsthand. I remember now. We had what was his name? Electric Avenue Drones or something like that. Something weird. He came to visit me 2 years ago, and he had the All-Star Premium, and I brought the Solo, and he couldn't fly. The whole time he couldn't fly. He set it up and turned it off, recalibrated the IMU, reset it, turned it off, set it up, kept saying compass calibration. I turned on the Solo, it was gone in a minute. I don't know, man. The X-Star was horrible. But the Evo, Mel, you know about this. The Evo, aren't they still getting sued by DJI for a lot of theft of firmware and stuff on that? The software side of things, the interface?
I think that's still going on, but it's been diminished severely, and it's, kind of like just pushed under the rug now because it's not such a big deal anymore.
Right, which is what's happened to the Evo, though. I think it's getting pushed under the rug now.
Well, and I think the X-Star is too. Yeah. When you guys mentioned that drone, I remembered seeing some. I was dancing around on Facebook Marketplace today. Within 200 miles of me, there are 1, 2, 3, 4
what, up for sale?
Within 200 miles of me, there's 4 up for sale for $350 or less.
Yeah, they plummeted.
And there's a half a dozen that people are, there's one advertised for $325 right next to one that's advertised for $650,
They took the route of the Solo, man. They just took a dive. I don't think they recovered.
Yeah. There's GoPro Karmas on here for sale for
I was about to say, speaking of taking a dive, there's the Karma.
Yeah.
I will say this, though, the Karma's open source. If we could just convince GoPro to release the open source coding to us, man, it could be the next Solo too. They don't want to give it up, man. I have no idea why they won't release the coding to everybody.
Because it's got commercial value and they want money out of it. They've probably got some patents and yada, yada, yada.
Oz Beach Andy, welcome.
Hey,
yeah,
Andy.
Rick's saying they're suing something about the propellers, and
Oh, jeez.
yeah. So,
Autel and the Evo and the X-Star were short-lived, man, as far as the excitement goes. Once all that excitement wears off,
Sure.
it becomes about as technological as a toaster to people.
Yep.
But if you have a look at whatever's going to come next, is the next one going to be the same kind of thing? I mean, what are you going to have feature-wise that's going to make it not just be another toaster?
But that's the problem, though. That's I think the brick wall that the drone mark is essentially hit now at this point, is that we're not getting anything new. They're just repackaging it in a different shape and calling it a new bird. And it's like, what's new? What have you given us? What you've added, maybe a smart shot or two to it. All the sensors are the same. We're not seeing anything new here. I think I talked about this a while ago, but the biggest thing I wanted to see drones actually do, besides land surveying, property surveying, stuff like that, mapping and rendering seems to be the future. But what if you could harness that for gaming? What if you could send a drone out to geofence map a field and build a virtual environment from path running it back and forth, just like you would surveying, and then have it build a 3D environment that somebody would link up. You see what I'm saying? And then you could have actual virtual reality battles in a field based on an environment created by the drone. And I thought, man, that would just be the wildest tech out there.
Or in the woods, or
Sure.
Exactly.
And I just they just don't seem to be doing anything cool with this new ability of drones, other than what the eHang 184 or 18 was it 184? They're actually using that drone now, passenger drone, which scares me because the only 2 drones that company ever produced failed miserably. I would never put foot inside of an eHang product. Oh my god! Do you guys remember the ghost drones?
Yeah.
Somebody.
Crap, they sucked. God.
Did you hear about that new Formula something pod racing or something?
I have. Who told me about that? Skipper Drones was talking about that. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that.
I mean, it's not the challenge is you don't actually have any craft that are mature enough to do it safely enough.
Mm-hmm.
So why are they putting the cart before the horse? It's
You got to get the excitement level brought up for it.
I don't know.
Hype.
Oops. I'm trying to find. I had a.
Trying to find excitement. Crikey!
Have you seen the pod racing they've been doing with the race drones, where they actually put the bodies of the pod racing, like Anakin's pod racer, Sebulba's? They actually built full size, well, not full size, but they're medium-sized pod racing, and they actually have FPV pilots that fly these things around track. It looks super cool, man. It looks wild. It looks really wild.
Rick says they need to have 4-way view in the app.
4-way. I would like to see drones have more 360 ability built into them. Somebody wants to know what I would trade for it. Your life. I'd trade your life for my Spark.
Oh, so now the truth comes out. You really do hold the Spark near and dear.
Give me your soul. Oh my gosh. No, I will actually be happy to see this thing go. Unfortunately, I thought I was going to like it. I will be happy the day it's not on my shelf anymore. I think the only DJI product I ever liked was the Phantom 3 Standard, because it was the closest you could get to modifying without all of the extra crap and just bloatware. I see it as bloatware. All that extra restrictive.
Here's the good thing. That No Limit drone stuff at the moment, they've found the magic key. So there's commands that go between the drone and either your computer over the USB or over the radio link, and they're called Dummel. And they found the God mode Dummel, for lack of a better description, and just turn off everything. Who cares?
Yeah.
Isn't that? I thought that was the guys that were creating the no restrictions. I forget what it's called. What is the DJI?
No limit drones.
No limit drones. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. So they previously did it via other methods, and they were using root access. But instead of using root access, there's actually commands that can just say, "Hey, turn this off, turn that off," blah 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 blah. They found that set of commands so they can do anything now without needing special firmware.
So that's like open source. Then you could just change the parameters.
Yeah, you can change all of them, everything.
What?
Now you don't have
Yeah.
to get rid of your spark, Dan.
What's happened?
Everything, every parameter is tweakable.
Shut up.
Well, if you buy something and you come home, put it in your driveway, and it won't fly because you haven't called China and given them 15 pieces of paperwork over a phone app, because you have to do it through the same, phone or iPad or whatever you're using. You can't go onto your computer and just send a piece of paper off. You can't unlock it.
Hey, Dan, I'll put you in touch with the guy who wrote the software, and I'll see if I can get you a key if you do an eval, an honest eval.
That I would be up for. I'm down with that. That sounds like that would be fun.
That'd be great for you, Dan.
If I can untap this thing and actually, but if the only reason I'm interested now is because you're saying I can adjust all of it, not just remove
Everything.
the restrictions. I can tamper with it.
Yes.
That's where things get exciting. I wonder how fast it can really go.
His nipple
But
there.
the speed things, you heard about Spike, iSpike. He's got a copy of that he won on my program, and he turned off the restrictions for speed, and he just went for going as fast as he could for 35 minutes, and he cooked the battery so much that it puffed up and fell out of the drone.
His red drone, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, I would be making speed runs, but I would be watching the amperage draw as well. You got to, just like RC boats, you can't just full throttle them constantly. You got to let them breathe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I don't get me wrong, iSpike and me are not on communicating terms anymore. He popped into Ken Dono's video and said some not so kind things, and then he reached out to me 3 days later and he was like, "You want to join my?" And I was like, "What? No, what? No, I don't want to join your thing. Do you remember talking crap about me, bro?" Instantly, he didn't even wait for another response. He just canceled me.
Okay.
Sorry, had to. I need to get iSpike off my head there.
Okay.
I just can't imagine him.
Tell us how you really feel, Dan.
Oh, you don't want that.
I'm trying to reach out to the guy that wrote that software, Coldflake. He's not online at the moment, but I'm going to have him as a guest on a week, not this weekend, but the one after, and also giving away some of his software then. So I'll see if I can get an extra one as well.
Excellent. That would be the shit.
You're the one, Greg, that you said it works with the Matrice, too.
It'll work with any DJI drone now because you're talking Dummel and you just say, "Open Sesame, hello."
I just farted.
And the next version,
That's what happened to his nipple. He lets off wind.
Let me go get another copy. I'll be right back, guys.
Okay.
Can't
the
control
next version of that. The next version as well, they're doing a complete re-architecture of the whole No Limit Drones thing at the moment. It was written in Delphi for some strange reason. They're going to move to something else and decouple it so that if you can imagine the No Limit Drone stuff is in the cloud and you can have a different user interface, one for your iPhone or a Mac or a PC or an Android or whatever you want, and it'll work on anything. So a lot of good ideas coming up there.
Are there a group? Is there a team of guys working on this, or it's just a couple individuals that are doing it?
So Coldflake is the guy who owns No Limit Drones. There's a group of hackers inside the Slack group that are working on doing the reverse engineering stuff, but he's doing most of the user interface And to be honest, the research of how to break it and do all of that stuff is done and dusted. That's finished. They have the keys to the castle.
I love it. Now we just need to find the whistles.
Yeah. Have you ever looked at their app?
I was actually going to buy it. I started thinking about it as I hated the restrictions more and more with the Spark. And then I just said, it's not worth it. I don't want to. I'm not going to invest my time in something I can't alter the way I want it to. I could just deal with somebody else's cracked and then hope for the best. That's not what I wanted from it. That would severely limit my happiness. I'm trying to be happy, Yeah. So, yeah, man. I'm going to go make pickles, even though I'm not going to make them. I'm just going to grab a jar. I'll be back. That sounds really good. We get these Florida pickles down here. They're homemade butter pickles, and they're so amazing. They're just you can't just eat them on a sandwich. You have to just physically take them into your mouth, allow your gleek gland to suck in all the greatness, and excrete a little bit into your mouth, which we call a mouthgasm. Okay.
Well, I'm from a German background, and we have a lot of butter pickles in our area that we grow on when we get them fresh from the farm.
So
we know.
Fantastic.
And there's something you can use now your toothpick with.
Oh, exactly. Tink.
See, world's issues are all solved in one pickle.
I'm with it.
There's the toothpick guy again.
Oh,
you missed it before, Dan.
I've seen it before. I'm thinking, what the hell?
Everyone else was laughing, but
I know. I'm thinking he looks a little bit fancy.
Yeah. I refer to this as this is a cool stick. And when you have a cool stick in your mouth, everything you start off a sentence with has to be, all right, see, here's what you're going to do, right? You gotta throw the New York accent, which I don't have, but you can start the sentence off with, all right, here's what you're going to do, right? As soon as you put a cool stick in your mouth, you have to revert to that New York style, Chicago style. And as soon as you put a cigar or cigarette in your mouth, you become Mel.
And that's the better of the two options.
I'm going to go butter pickle it. I'll be back.
While you pickle it, there's that photo from that pod racing stuff.
Dude, that looks nuts.
It does.
But you know what, man? One crash, dude, and holy Christ.
And here's another photo. This one's more of a marketing one, but who cares?
I like that.
No, this is something that you actually ride in?
Yes.
Yeah, there are people who are trying to get like the equivalent of Formula One motorsports in the air.
Which I don't know if the chassis or body can handle that kind of G-force.
That'd be crazy.
Think about how much we break props just because of wind adjustment from snapping too fast a left or a right-hand turn. You just snap a prop right off from G-force.
So they'll market that in Dubai, no doubt.
Are they still riding those crazy police motorcycle drones? Did that ever take off?
I'll be back.
You've seen it, right, Greg?
Not that I know of. I've not seen that anything real. While he's gone, I'll put the toothpick guy back just to feel like we got a bit of Dan here.
Look at that stash.
Jeez. Oh my God.
Here, Greg, we call them what, hipsters or something like that. He looks
Greg, that's the only thing worse than Lloyd laying in bed. Come on, get rid of it.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of which, I've got to go to the optometrist after saying that earlier. Oh, my God.
Yeah. Yeah, I decided to just pop on for a little while and open up the chat and get a little bit of watch time. I'm starting to get close to my 4,000 hours, so I'm starting to get itchy with it. And
mate, that watch time thing is a big crock of nothing. I've hit that probably a month and a half, 2 months ago now.
You're still waiting on your monetization?
Yep. I don't care about the monetization so much. I care more about the partner thing where I want someone where I can ask a bloody simple question to.
That's right. So some representation.
Yeah.
Greg, have you got any unlisted videos? That's just a question I have.
Very few.
Because they can hold you up. Because what happens is, evidently, with the experience from other people, is that they get flagged, and they spend more time searching if there's any issues.
There's very few.
Yeah, but
Very few.
The reason why I asked you that question is if you can tidy them up, just in case that results in issue.
I don't think that's going to be it. Very few.
No worries.
Yeah, I know it takes a minimum a couple of weeks.
It's been well more than that, Mel.
Oh, I know.
I had heard people that said they were waiting for months. So that's all I know. I'll never be there. So.
Well, Jim, with that attitude, you're right. You'll never be there. Come on now.
Yeah.
No. You got to understand.
I used to think I'd never be there, and I'm getting close. So,
according to Google, 70% of my views come from Facebook. So, those are people that don't subscribe. They just come, look at your videos, and leave.
Okay.
That's still watch time.
So
yeah,
what's
but
your sub number there, Milroy?
it's not the 1,000 subscribers. You need 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time.
That's right.
Yeah. And believe me, the 4,000 hours of watch time is harder to get than 1,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
Who did Dan
Unless you're
put?
going.
What's he got up there?
That's a picture of his captain's hat.
Yeah, his captain's hat and his dinghy in the back.
I thought
Yeah.
it was
Facebook he has.
putting up a picture to combat the toothpick guy, but no.
Take that,
Anyway.
big guy.
He's back.
Welcome back.
You know what I'm interested in, Greg, is if that would open up the ports on the back of the Matrice that I have that are now only usable if I pay 10 grand to DJI to use their SDK.
Well,
So,
I would
short
think.
answer.
Go ahead.
Short answer is the software takes away the restrictions. What are you wanting to use the port for? What restriction might be there?
If I wanted to put anything other than DJI's products on there, I would have to pay to go through the SDK to program it to do what I wanted to do. Whereas if that were flat out available, I could buy instead of buying a $20,000 XT2 that's a piece of crap,
Go.
all it is a $4,000 FLIR camera called the FLIR View Pro, and let me stick a 2015 camera next to it, call it an XT2, and charge you 50 grand for it. No, I want to put the $4,000 FLIR View Pro camera on there. You cannot do that.
And the answer to the question is, even if you've got the drone there and you take off all restrictions, that won't fix it because you still need drivers inside the operating system that will talk to your device. If your device happens to use the same physical interface as the existing DJI stuff, then it'll work, but don't know that it will.
Well, there's something called the Gremsy Eye, which is a gimbal that will work with DJI stuff. I know that's about it. That's all I know.
Yeah.
You still can't trigger a FLIR camera through it. You'd still have to have a separate setup.
Yeah, I would say so. Don't think that's going to help you. But having said that, there is root access available, and if you want to go and write your own code and stick it on the bird, knock yourself out.
Right? Or just do it the easy way and get a separate transmitter for the FLIR camera. Like how they do it. That's how they do it. That's how they make it work.
That's what that
It's
guy
just not on a gimbal. And you can mount it on a gimbal plate and isolate it from vibration and cut down the jello and all that. And
well, I know a guy who did it with GoPro mounts and put it on the back of his Inspire 1.
yeah,
Just had Diversity 7.
What happened to Dan?
but you have to
Nothing.
you still have to isolate it so that you don't get
Vibration.
vibration and stuff into it.
What's he showing?
Control Alt Delete.
Could be anything with Dan.
Control Alt Delete. You guys are in the past.
Free rider.
What are you doing, Dan?
I figured while we talk, I can get some practicing because it's been a couple months since I flew an FPV.
Oh, he's going to do it soon.
Oh, so you're sharing it with us.
Mm-hmm.
Acro mode, low rate.
So what'd you guys think of my first FPV flight?
I didn't see it.
I didn't see it either.
Well, now I know who watches my videos. Geez.
I watch a lot of your videos.
When was it posted? When was it posted?
Yesterday.
I hadn't.
Yeah, well, I haven't caught up since yesterday.
Exactly.
Hey, props off. Welcome.
You guys have probably seen this at like 2 frames.
And in my
Yeah, we can
opinion, the
only see
last
it in the
thing
small little box at the bottom.
the last thing you want to do with a FLIR is try to have the requirement to incorporate it with an RGB image to be able to recognize what it is. So to me, if you're going to use FLIR, go with a good enough quality camera with a high enough resolution and a fast enough refresh rate to make it function.
So you don't have to use the MSX.
Exactly. Props off as far as what's happening. We're just killing time.
Yeah, just chewing the.
I'm going to go and kill some time somewhere else because I'm going to do something else.
Well, thanks for coming in, Greg. Thanks for being part of all the conversation.
Holy Christ, it's midnight.
Super interested, so keep me in touch, man. Keep me informed.
Okay, guys.
Yeah, I'm out.
As they
Have a good one.
Aussie. Calm the crows.
Sorry, what?
Comic.
Calm the crows.
And as a fellow Aussie, go to the Blues.
That's exactly right. Go for it, buddy.
What's it like?
Yeah.
2 in the afternoon for you guys over there?
Yeah, 2 o'clock.
2:30.
Have a good day, Greg.
Okay, see you guys.
Talk to you later, Mel.
Thanks, brother.
Are you leaving, Jim?
James.
I guess he did.
Where did James go?
I guess he left too. Jeez. He looked at the clock and saw it was 12:30 over there where he lives in Florida. He was like, oh shit, past my bedtime.
I don't think it was meant.
Thanks, Rick. And I don't think it was so fine for my first try, but I think I'll do it down at the high school where I got the whole football field to fly in instead of just, I got 5 acres here, but it's all woods. And that little bitty drone would be really easy to lose.
Did you try acro?
No, I'm not ready for that yet.
Mm-hmm. Got to get yourself some stick time, man. Get a nice little simulator. They're fun.
I've got a good simulator, I think. I got the same one that Mr. Steele recommended.
I like the physics of Freerider. I feel like it's more on dot and the graphics are better. They're small maps, but it just means that you have to hone your skill set to get into it.
Yeah. Well, I did some pretty cool flying in the simulator, down under the base of the trees and things like that and so forth. But when I went outside, my first takeoff, I landed next to a pile of lumber covered up with a metal roof that I've got built to protect the wood a little bit and propane bottle and stuff. And it landed right side up. And the motors were still spinning. So there was nothing holding them up. So I throttled it back up and made a little turn in a circle and ended up on the roof of my garage. And that's a metal roof. So it's got edge trim on it that you know, the edge of the drone is small enough, it got caught under the edge of the edge trim. So I had to actually get a ladder and reach up there and grab it. I couldn't reach it. And then my next flight from a full takeoff, I went up in the air and made a couple of turns. I was trying to get it trimmed out. The trim was way off, which really surprised me. It took me by surprise. And in doing that, I lost track of where it was. And for whatever reason, it went down. And I'm still not sure if I cut the throttle because it was headed toward the trees or what, but it landed in the brush. And I looked back at the Osmo action camera that I was recording me on and was like, okay, I have no clue where this thing is at because I had goggles on. And I went looking for it, couldn't find it. And then I got the bright idea, well, I was recording the DVR in the Fat Shark. So I pulled that chip out and put it in the computer. And then I figured out where the drone was basically. And I got close enough to it that when I throttled the motors, I could see the bushes wiggling. So that's how I found it. Good night, Jim. You're welcome. You're welcome here anytime. You know that. And I didn't realize you were leaving, but thanks for being here. Thanks for being part of the stream.
Jim Crinan?
No, Jim Above and Beyond Drones. His name is Jim.
Oh, this is my fail. I fail every time trying to get out of here.
The one that was just on. Yeah, thanks, Jim. Catch you later, mate.
That's the first time I made it out of the building. Now I'm proud of myself.
I've been doing that. I've been on one of these simulator setups that I'm using. It's got stuff you can fly in and fly out, and the building's got skylights in it, so you can fly out through the skylight and stuff.
It throws you off because no matter how bad you want to tip the nose up to go out, you know you can't. Because if you do throttle up with the tip up, what's going to happen? It's going to go backwards at an angle.
Sure.
And that's the hardest thing that I come to realize, to remember, is that it's not an airplane. You can't throttle up and choose your direction when going up. You just have to take your best estimated guess and whale the throttle when you think you're in your clear.
Yeah. Props off. Tonight on the news, some dipstick playing chicken at 800 feet with a police heli.
Oh.
It landed at the school, so did they. The guy flying was arrested. Awesome.
That's going to look well for us tomorrow.
Right? That's just fantastic.
Can you get this sim on Steam, Dan?
Oh, you know, I'll be right back. I got a question for you, Dan. Hang on a minute.
All right. What happened there, Manic?
What you're playing here, the sim, is that on Steam?
No, heck no. This is $5. You can just download it. It's called Free Rider.
All right, I'll look into that then.
Yeah, I mean, you still need to purchase the trainer cord, and like I'll show you. Give me 1 sec. I'll stop sharing here. Hold on. All right, can you see me now?
Mm-hmm.
So this is about a $60 Fly Sky transmitter, pre-programmable 6-channel. I believe it's 6-channel. I use.
Is that the TaranisQ?
No. This is the Fly Sky. This is the old school Fly Sky. I use it for everything still, but it has a trainer cord that you actually have to purchase. It isn't part of the setup to plug into this, and then it runs through USB, and then you just turn it on, turn the transmitter on. And basically you just go into the settings and you set it up to how you want to fly. It's actually fairly simple once you get the hang of it, but I don't know, it beats when, like, I use the sim really for just practice flying and when I want to practice a new move, because honestly, dude, it's fun to go out in the field and try it real life, but dude, when you realize your first attempt smashes your drone into 1,000 pieces while trying it, you're gonna remember why you bought the simulator, and then you'll probably go back to it. Ooh, What the hell is that?
Can you see what that says?
Price Guy.
Am I getting a good focus on it so you can see it well enough?
Yeah, FR Sky.
It's a
nickel metal hydrate.
Yep, nickel metal hydride battery.
Mm-hmm.
This is for the TaranisQ
QX7.
X7.
Mm-hmm.
And when I bought the transmitter, I didn't know that it doesn't come with a battery.
Yep.
And mine did not come with the battery pack that you can put in and put some AA's in it. So I've been using another well, I've been using, well, in fact, it's in it right now. I've been using this 550 pack because it had a plug that would connect to the transmitter.
Sure.
But I wanted the actual correct batteries for the transmitter, so I bought the correct ones. And so my question is, because it's a nickel metal battery instead of a LiPo, it's got the same plug on the end of it.
That's a balance port.
I'm not gonna. No, it's no.
That looks
not.
like a 2 or 3S balance port, except it's only a 2S because there's it's weird how they have that set up, man. That's actually a 3S. It might be a 2S balance port, but they only have 2 wires going into it, which is really weird.
Yeah, well, this pack has 6 cells in it.
Mm-hmm. But they're all parallel, right? They're all tied together.
I'm assuming that's the way it looks like it's wired.
Sure. What's the voltage readout on the NIMH?
7.2.
So yeah, it's a 2S battery. It's just undercut. It's not LiPo, so it's 7.4 would be LiPo. 7.2 is nickel metal hydrate. So you could use a 2S on it.
Okay, so my question is, can I use the same charger that I use for my Fat Sharks? Because it's got the exact same plug for charging.
Yeah, because that's once again, that's a balance port. That's really strange how they have that set up, man. I'm not gonna lie.
But this is LiPo and this is nickel.
Right, and I get that, and that's why normally you'd want to have. Do you have a hybrid grade charger or no?
No, not even. Well, you know what? I don't know. I would have to go out in the shed and dig out my RC toolbox and see if I still have one.
So,
but
if you get a decent one, this is actually this takes, I don't know if you can see that, all the way from 2S all the way up to 6S.
Oh, okay.
And then you would just program it for NIMH on the thing and hit go. And as long as it registers that you're plugged into one of the balance ports, it's going to accept the charge.
Okay.
So I don't want to say yay or nay because there's a possibility that you could fry it. LiPo's obviously got way more push power than a nickel metal hydrate battery.
Right. But for the use that this is going to be, it's the perfect battery pack for that transmitter. I mean, it's not going to have heavy draw on it like it would if it was spinning 4 motors. You know?
And I agree. That's why you need to watch your C rating. So if you do choose LiPo, you're going to want to watch your C rating because that's your discharge capacity for the battery. Too high of a C rating could just potentially burn all the parts outside the transmitter.
Oh, okay.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Well, that was the battery that I should have ordered when I ordered the transmitter. I just didn't know any better.
Sometimes you can take those transmitters down and they can put them on a program. Like if you take it to a hobby shop, they have the ability to tell it whether it's going to be running LiPo or NIMH, just like RC cars.
Right.
They have a firmware thing that just tells you what to put in the program slot. Like if I was to take mine down to my Hobbies and tell them, hey, I don't want to run this on NIMH anymore. I want to change this over to LiPo. Can you adjust it? Then if it comes with that, it'll tell you, like they'll be able to tell you, yes, you can make the adjustment. No, you can't, you know.
Okay.
If they can, then you could just switch it over to LiPo and never have to worry about it again.
Well, I'm running LiPo in it now.
Which might be dangerous, though, because I assume that your cells on your NAMH at top peak are 7.2 volts, correct?
Yeah, that's what it says right on it, 7.2.
Right. So that would be actually storage capacity for the battery. So 7.4 is actually going to charge up to 8.6 or 8.8. So that's actually, if you're putting a fully charged battery in it, it's running constant power, direct amperage at 8.8 volts, plus whatever the C rating is in the AH draw. So batteries are a really touchy thing, man. You just got to be careful what you're plugging into. You never really know, man.
Well,
if it's working, I would say go for it. How many times have you done it?
Well, every time I've run the transmitter, I've run it with this particular battery.
I wouldn't even stress it then. I would just keep using it. If it was going to burn out, most likely it would have done it by now.
Well, according to what I read,
Mm-hmm.
this is a 7.4 volt, of course.
Mm-hmm. So peak performance is 8.6.
And everything I read, it was good to use, so I used it because I didn't have anything else to use.
Here's a quick way to
but
tell.
it's only a 550.
Oh yeah, a little tiny guy.
You know.
Okay.
So,
here's a really quick way to tell what it can handle. If you take your transmitter apart and just look at the back of the main board, if you look where the power connection goes, like where those two wires are, it'll normally say this board can handle anywhere from 3 volts to 13 volts. Anywhere in between there is safety zone. You see what I'm saying? Like they normally stamp it right on the board what the power ratings can be. So if you wanted to go with the bigger battery, you can do that.
Okay. Saskatchewan, welcome, James. Mike B, what are you up to? You want to join us? Rick, you want to join us? Anybody want to pop in for a little bit? I don't know how much longer we're going to be on, but
Props off noticed the same thing I did. He said, careful, that's not a balance. That's not a it is a balance plug. It's just weird how they have it set up. A balance plug normally has 3 wires. One of them's a center wire, which is black, and then you have red. And so if you're looking at it from a 2S, he's right though, and this is what I was saying. It's weird that they have it in balance port setup. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
Like it's really strange they have it set up that way with only 2 wires. I don't know who designed that, but that's a weird.
Well, this is direct from Price Guy. I mean, that's the people that make the controller, isn't it?
Yes. QX7 is FR Sky. Yes.
Yeah. And it says right on it, it's, for the X7 transmitter. I mean, but I bought some new batteries too for it. I'm battery poor now for my little drone. I can probably fly it for an hour.
Manic, did you hear that?
What's that, mate?
Okay. All right. This microphone's not as good as I thought it was. Dude, I just farted for like 35 seconds straight. It was amazing.
Okay. Lloyd.
Who tweaked your nipple this time?
Nothing. I was just like, oh, dude, it's coming.
That's the battery I'm going to be running in my TinyHawk.
Very nice.
I bought 8 of those or something.
Well, Sunday we're getting all 3 FPV drones up. I've had the Mobula 7 now for a month, and I haven't even changed the board yet. I also have the Healy 220 and the Flywoo Crab, as well as the Tyro 99, and all 3 of them are going to be up in the air soon. So we're hoping for the best here. I'm going to meet up with Brian, and hopefully when I leave, I have 4 drones programmed to this transmitter. I can fly any one of them. That's the hope. We are having a heck of a time with these drones, man, and getting them in the air. They're fighting me at every corner. So.
Well, this transmitter is supposed to be able to handle, I don't know how many, but it'll handle more than I'm ever going to have.
Yeah. I mean, 4 is a lot to me. I don't know if I need any more than 4 FPV drones. That just means a ton of maintenance when they break.
Mm.
What do we got in here? John Ibass, what's up? Drone shot skied.
I'm going to have to, if I get deeper into this FPV stuff, I'm going to have to start building one or something, I guess.
Well, I did. That did not work out well. I don't mind flying. I'm a decent pilot when it comes to acro. I'm definitely not great. That's for sure. I just like to play, do flips, barrel rolls, and have some fun getting close to stuff. But I'm not out to do what half these guys are, break their drone every single day because they smile and go, ha ha, I get to take it home and fix it.
They love it.
That's
They love it. They love it more than just flying the drone.
Yeah, they like to break it to see how bad they can punish it and then fix it and be like, it's back in the air again.
I did all that with RC cars and trucks and things, and so yeah, I'm not into the fixing stuff.
That's why you haven't seen any RC cars on my channel lately. I've really just stayed away from them because every time I'd fix it, I'd be excited. It would work great for 2 days, and then it would break, and then be back on the shelf for 3 months while I wait for parts to come in.
Hadley Famous did a 60-day trial quest to fly every day. So he had a lot of breakages.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I can imagine.
Yeah, that was his test.
Yeah. Hey, Dan.
Yo.
I haven't even wiped the dust off of it yet.
Ooh.
I've kept the dust ceremonial.
You got a little drifter there?
No, it's just a flat track car, 4-wheel drive.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I've never even ran it.
Crazy.
Never even ran it. But
as much as I like to beat up RC cars, I hate fixing them.
You know, when I was into the RC car thing, it was a lot of fun. I had an RC10. I had a Losi car. I had a Kyosho truck. And my co-driver and I, a guy that I hired to run with me, he got into it with me. And we carried all our stuff on the truck. And we get laid over for a weekend or something. He'd go in the truck stop and find us a racetrack in the phone book. So I've raced all over the country. Someplace I've got trophies and ribbons from every state I ever raced in. But this one time that I remember in particular, we were in New England. I think we were in Massachusetts. Laid over for the weekend. I said, Raymond, go find us a track. Well, up in New England, they run typically, you know, their stock car stuff is all called modified. What makes it modified is the body. Okay. In everywhere else in the country, what makes an RC car modified is the motor. Okay. So I was running like triple wind motors and stuff, and, you know, really hot motors. And we got up there and they said, yeah, you can race. We're having a race tonight. It was an indoor clay oval track, a flat track. And we said, okay, what do we need to do to run on your track? Because, you know, we do off-road stuff. So we had knobby tires and paddle tires and stuff. We didn't have anything for clay. So we had to buy all tires and wheels because we had to run foam tires for the clay track. And then we had to buy a body to put on our car so that it would qualify under the modified class because we ran modified instead of stock. So I said, well, the motor makes it modified. He said, no, you can run any motor you want. It's the body that makes it modified. And I said, okay, what do you guys run for motors? And he told us. And Ray and I just kind of looked at each other and grinned because they were running stock motors. Okay. So we put clay tires and rims on our cars. We put the bodies on our car. They weren't painted or nothing because it was just a Lexan body, you know. and we ran practice heats and stuff. We both qualified for the A main in the final heat, and I won the race. Ray took second place. I finished a lap and a half ahead of everybody in the field except Ray. He was right behind me. And 3 laps before the final lap, I lost the left front wheel off my car. And because my motor was so hot compared to what they were running, I was basically power sliding all the way around the whole track, even on the straightaways. My car was only pointed straight on the straightaway for a few seconds, and then it was sideways so that I could get it around the end of the track, right around the turn. So there was no weight on the left front of the car because it was always in a turn. So I held the left front off the ground so it wouldn't drag me down. I finished the last 3 laps on 3 wheels and won the race anyway. Everybody there was really upset with us. 2 strange guys come into town with, and take the trophies.
I'm into the boats, man. I don't get into the cars. I have this dream of making a Chinese piece of crap boat so fast that it torpedoes a wave. I wanna go into an 8-foot wave so fast that it goes through the wave instead of over it. What do you think?
They have those already.
Yeah, but
they call them submarines.
Right, but not with cheap Chinese junk boats.
Well, that's true.
I want to make it stupid fast. I want to have it running like 2 6S batteries. Maybe 2 4S batteries for an 8S boat that's only a 1.5 feet long.
I was going to say, what, about 1.5 feet long?
Yes, and just throttle punch it and just wind out right into the first wave I see and have a camera on the other side in the boat and just see if it penetrates the wave and it comes blasting out the other side. Just 100 miles an hour straight into the wave. I either see parts or it jumps it and it just blows.
That would be interesting.
I want to know if it's possible to actually go through the wave instead of over it. I could put bow planes that dig, so when it hits, right, it pushes down, downward force, and then it just rockets out the other side. Yeah.
I got a feeling that once it went under, that'd be the last you see of it.
I don't know, because I've had an alligator eat my boat before, and he gave it back. He spit it out. He's like, I'll play the video. You've never seen this video for real?
I've never seen the video where the alligator ate your boat.
Okay. Let's see here.
I think this X7 does have a charge port right here. So I could actually recharge the battery in it without taking it out.
Just remember, NAMH is designed for NAMH.
Which is why tomorrow I'm going to go out into my toolbox and see if I've still got a charger that works.
Okay. Oops, that's not what I meant to do. Damn it.
Do you have any gimbals left from your solos?
I know he wasn't talking to me. He was talking to John Ibass.
Oh.
Let's see here. Share. Where the hell? There it is. Share this thing. Oh, wait. Let's just do application window. Oh, no. We'll just do it this way. Share. All right. Can you see? You may want to present me if you haven't.
I can do that.
Let me know when I'm presented.
You are.
This is old school here, man. 331 likes, 67 dislikes, and almost 40,000 views. This will probably take a minute to go widescreen. All right, watch the fun.
Okay, so there's the boat.
Ooh. And 3 2, 1, gone.
Wow. But you never saw the gator.
It's only 1080 at 30 frames per second. See it? Can you see the boat underwater in its mouth? I zoomed in on my GoPro. I'll rewind it. It probably looks like heck for you guys, but you can see the stickers, the GoPro stickers moving through the water right there.
Oh, wow.
It looks like a reflection for a second.
Yeah.
I can't wish you guys could see me pointing on the screen, but 3, 2, 1, there it is.
Yeah.
It was wild, man. All I saw was boat swimming sideways, and then I saw tail, legs, everything. It happened so fast. I didn't realize what took place. So,
Well, he was quick to snatch that boat at the speed it was moving.
I'm telling you, man. Well, but they apparently, I talked to the sheriff afterwards because they came out. They were wondering what was going on, and so they said it's bedding season, mating season, something like that. And they're very territorial, but this is their food hunting ground. You'll notice also that I'm sitting here like, what the heck has happened to this boat? The alligator goes really wide, goes all the way back to where it started off at, where it was sitting, and it releases the boat. And they said it just returned to its hunting ground. And when it realized it wasn't food, it just let it go. So
wow.
You'll see right over here on the right hand.
But I thought alligators were like sharks. They'll pretty much eat anything.
You'll see bubbles here in a second on the right side, top end of the right side of the screen. I'm still convinced it's gone. I'm like, that boat is gone. It is not
right.
So yeah, man, this is. I mean, there's 8-foot gators in there, bro. There's nobody in there in a sub suit or a, you know, they'd be idiots to go in that water. I swam to get a boat one time, and here it is. You see the water? Boom.
Mm.
And he lets it go.
Wow. And it was upright.
What's it? Well, it has a self-righting feature in it.
Oh, okay.
So he didn't chomp hard enough. Now you can see the GoPro sticker on the front has teeth marks in it. There was a GoPro on top. You'll notice the GoPro is no longer part of the boat.
Right.
Yeah, just the clip on there. So you can see the teeth marks in the top of the GoPro sticker right there, top and bottom side. Like he had it in his mouth. He was just trolling through the water with it after he grabbed it.
Wow.
Oh, gosh.
You still have that boat, right?
No, I ended up giving it to a buddy to rebuild. So,
oh, man, that boat should have got put on a shelf, man.
No, it was full of water. It had a ton of water in it.
Good night, Rick. Have a great evening.
Oh, that's on 3S. That's a brushless 3S mini speedboat. That goes about 27 miles an hour. That's a little Spitfire boat there.
Wow.
So I wanted to get 2 small 4S batteries, make it an 8S, and take a boat that's that long, that's only a foot long, and see if I can torpedo a wave with it.
Interesting.
Anyways, all right. Suppose we can stop sharing.
Oh. Yeah, I didn't get a charger with it or a battery with it or anything, Props Off. Let me hook you up there so you can put that link in real quick.
What's that?
He says he's got a link for the charger that should have come with my QX7.
Oh, somehow I stopped presenting. How long was that not for? Oh, did you stop the screen share?
No.
Oh, interesting.
You did.
Manic.
Yeah.
You look like a manic.
I may be a manic.
But are you magic?
I'm very magical.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I was surprised that video didn't get like 2 million views, bro. That was a fun day for me too. I was
you
more
need
than
to
happy.
You need to you need to redo the well, why can't I think of the word?
Who are you talking to, Mel?
Dan.
Oh, Dan, right.
The keywords that you put in videos.
True.
You need to redo that and
they reckon key sentences and things like that are a lot more attractive to the tags.
I was
That's
hoping
it, the tags.
the tags. I was hoping Viral Hog would pick it up. Honestly, I sent it to a couple news stations in my area talking about Hillsborough River. Gator eats RC boat. I thought they would have fun showing that on the news. They didn't take it. Local RC enthusiast loses boat to Gator. You know, whatever.
I would have thought that that would have been something they'd like to see.
I thought so too. They turned me down flat. They were like, no, did you hear about anybody that got murdered lately? I was like, what? Is this what our news has really turned into, man?
It really has.
Just the grimy side of things, no fun.
Yep.
I don't even watch the news anymore. Like the last time I was in hospital, everything that I turned and flicked over on channels or any program, it always had something negative.
Mm-hmm.
And the news included, and I'd ended up turning the TV off. At least with YouTube, I can choose what I want to watch and try to keep out of anything that's poisonous, anything that's toxic. I can switch it off then.
Yep.
News,
you know, I haven't even been watching any news lately. I didn't know that there was 2 earthquakes in California a couple days ago. I mean, I've not been watching any news. I've just been cleansing myself of all the negativity.
That's right. And like there was something on, someone said, oh, watch the Trump speech and whatnot. And I wasn't interested. I'm just not interested at all. Anything to do with the news.
Well, guys, I got to finish my report and hit the sack here, man. I got to be up early to mow the lawn.
Yeah, it's midnight here, and my coach to the bedroom's about to turn into a pumpkin.
Yeah, I might get off too.
So I think I'm ready to
calling it too
to pop it. Yeah, it's
how you going?
Been on. How do you tell how long you've been on the stream?
You can't until you end it. Or yeah, I don't think you can until you end the stream. You just have to pay attention to what time you get started. Let's see. Grumpy Vlogger just posted at 1:02 a.m. So he just posted a minute ago. Lloyd.
Yeah, he posts. He's got them preset to post at midnight every night.
Gotcha. I was wondering about that.
Yep. He's up and awake because sometimes I'll go comment on his video and he'll say, "What are you still doing up?"
Often he doesn't go to bed until the next day.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
He's vlogging, then he will end up going to bed.
Yeah. Thanks, Props Off. I got that link. I opened the page and I saved it in my favorites list for now so that I can go back and look at it tomorrow when I'm coherent. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. And Rick said he may even have an extra charger, and I've probably got one in my stuff outside. I just have to go look and see.
I think I'd put enough JB weld on the bilge pump. What do you think? That's a big gob of JBL weld.
Oh, why did you have to do that?
To secure it so I can put it back on the boat so it can suck thousands of gallons of water an hour.
Well, why don't you just use a rubber hose and a hose clamp?
Yeah, I would, except the hose clamp doesn't tighten down to it. It's all plastic. If you go too tight, then it just breaks.
Breaks.
Oh, yeah, but I always ran rubber hose and hose clamps on bilge pumps.
Yeah, this one apparently is so strong, every time I turn it on, it just blows the hose right out of the end of it. I finally gave up, man. I had the hose clamp on there. It started breaking the plastic. I gave up on that. So this time I JB welded everything together.
Wow. Okay.
She shall not come loose again. I don't want to be stranded in the middle of the ocean taking on water. I'm fat. I'm not bailing anything out.
So, you know, the key to that is?
You don't go out in the ocean.
No. Plug the holes in the boat so it don't leak. I mean, come on.
It doesn't leak, but I was thinking about what if a wave does, kind of hit it and takes on a lot of water.
You know, I'll tell you a story. I used to have an Aristocraft boat.
Story time.
Yeah, this is a good story though. So we're out shark fishing. We're fishing specifically for shark. I went to the packing house and got 2 5-gallon buckets of blood and parts and scraps. Chum. And a lot of people don't know what that is. But anyway, yeah, I got me 2 5-gallon buckets of chum. And I had a bait. Now I had a 20, this boat was 24 foot, I think. So I had a bait tank off the back, you know, the canvas bag bait tank that keeps your live bait. And instead of putting live bait in it, of course, I just turned the pump on, filled the tank with water, and started dumping the bucket in, right? And we're trolling. Well, as the day went on, the seas got a little worse. And I'm running directly into the swells, and my boat would go up over the first swell, come down and slam the second swell. They were in sets of 3. It'd go up over that one and come down, and the bow actually penetrate the third swell. And I'd get water running up over the bow. It was a closed bow, and run down the gunnels and into the fresh air intake, straight into the bilge. Bilge pump running, everything's good. I'm not concerned a bit. And then after some time, I don't know how long, but the boat started feeling kind of sluggish in the water, and it wasn't acting right. And I thought, something's wrong. I pulled the engine hatch off, and the water in the bilge was almost to the deck, the whole length of the boat.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Now, the bilge was deep enough to house a 6-cylinder inline 6, you know, standing straight up and down, and only about half of the motor above the deck. The rest of it's below deck.
Right.
So you know what that means? That means I'm laying on the deck with my head down in the bilge with all that oil and crap and stink and
of course
rough seas, and I'm digging around under there to find out what happened to my bilge pump. Apparently I had a wire come loose, and so now I got to rewire the bilge pump in this rocking ocean of water to get my boat to not sink. So that was the only problem I ever had with a bilge pump. And that was because of all the water that ended up in there, you know, because water pushes on you. It pushes on wires. It pushes on everything when it's sloshing around.
Right.
And it broke a wire loose, and my bilge pump quit. So, yeah. Anyway.
Luckily, I'll be sitting right next to the bilge pump. If it fails, I'll know.
Yeah.
It's just a foot below my butt. Sitting on the aluminum floor, sucking the water out. I'm glad it worked, because I forgot to pick the tongue up, and I put it in my driveway, which is a down slot, and I backed the boat in. So it got rained on, and all the water went to the front of the boat, and I came out, and the tongue was still sitting on the ground, and I was like, holy Christ, it's got like, I don't know, 1,000 pounds of water in it. And I was
right. Yeah, so you hook it up to the car and go drive down the street, get it, you know, park it on a hill.
You can't hook it up to the car. All the water was running downhill on the tongue weight. So,
oh, that's right. You just got some kind of little car you pull it with, right?
Right. So I'm sitting here going, how the hell am I going to pick up the tongue with 800 pounds of water leaning on the tongue weight plus the weight of the boat? And I just had to struggle through it. I made my neighbor go get a bucket, and I just got diesel and lifted the whole thing up, and we put it on the bucket, and then I heard it start draining. And then I was like, dang, it's not high enough. So I lift it higher, and we shoved a spare tire underneath it. And it kept draining. And I was like, oh boy, I need to fix the bilge pump.
Yeah. On my big cabin cruiser, I had 2 pumps like that.
Yeah.
And I had a float switch, so that if the water got above 3 inches deep in the bilge, it would float the float, and that would turn the switch on and start the pumps.
Right, which I think I'm gonna end up doing here is getting a float switch, so I don't have to automatically turn on and off. If it gets too much water, it'll just activate.
Yeah. We used to put that boat was trailerable too. It was a 24-foot cabin cruiser with almost a 600-mile range. And we'd spend the night on it and everything out in the ocean, you know. Shit, I had that boat 120 miles out in the ocean off the West Coast.
Jeez, oh Pete.
We'd leave Friday afternoon and come back Monday, and you know.
All my tubbiness isn't going too far out there. I'm too chubby for all that, man. The last thing I need is my boat to sink while I'm out there.
Yeah. Well, that's why I was teasing you about it, being a dinghy, because it was just funny.
Oh, yeah, no, I promise you I'm a professional floater, though, sir. I will float to shore. Yeah. I can guarantee that. Ain't no swimming. I figure I got about a week of floating material before my body starts to eat away at the fat content. Within a week, I should float back to shore.
Yeah.
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 Sharks aren't going to be interested. There's no cream filling, so they're just going to find something else to eat.
Yeah. You better hope that's true. All right, guys. Yeah. Yeah, Mike, I'm sorry, man. I'm getting tired too, so I think I'm just going to pop it off here.
I told
Dan,
Mike going
Trevor,
live.
Thanks, guys, for coming in and being part of it.
Yes, sir.
No problems. I'll catch you later. Everyone in the chat, see you later.
Good night, everybody. Thanks for coming in. Thanks for being part of it. I appreciate everybody being here. I really do.
Toodaloo.
Good night.
Crikey.